number 19.
Episode 19. We have a special guest this week. I always like having special guests because I don't have to think of a title.
Yeah.
I can just say special guest.
Much easier.
Cole Willis.
Cole Willis.
Welcome, Cole Willis, to the show.
Howdy.
Thanks for being there.
Introduce yourself to the crew.
Sure. My name is Cole Willis. I have lived in Estill County my whole life. I've known Gabe my whole life. Went to church with him. I've known Jake probably half that time, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Pretty much sums it up.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I work at Richmond Utilities in Richmond, Kentucky for the water company. So I fix leaks and I make people mad when I turn their water off. I have several stories about that and several violent tendencies thrown at me. I'll tell you this. One time we were working and it was cutoff week. And it was right after winter. So from like November through January, we don't turn people's water off. Just as it's the holidays, let's let everyone, do what they need to. And then we send the bill. It'll be like, hey, you owe us like $400 in water bills.
Yeah. So
they get mad, very mad. And I remember I went out to go turn someone's water off one time in a pretty sketchy part of Richmond. It wasn't the best. I went out there, I was by myself, and I went out there to turn the meter off. And I got up, and someone came out and was like, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm just reading your meter. He goes, no, you ain't. You just turned the water off. I said, yeah, I lied. I turned your water off. And he goes inside. I get in my truck. I have to write down the numbers, what it read, sorry. And after that, I started driving away. And I seen something running behind me. And I was about to come to a stop sign. I had my light on, and I hit the brakes. I looked behind me. This man is chasing me with a baseball bat. I said, holy crap. And it was off of Tate's Creek. And, there's all kinds of traffic coming down through there.
Yeah.
So I said, screw it. I drove right off, nowhere near where I had to go. I had to go back into Main Street. So I drove right on towards Goggins to go to, Richmond Center. And, I actually got the call to go turn that person's water back on. Mm-hmm. He watched me do it too, and I was kind of scared for that.
Ran at you with a baseball bat?
Ran at me with a baseball bat. It was a wooden baseball bat. I saw the Louisville Slugger sign on it. It was it was kind of scary.
The working for the city, and especially kind of in the service, would that be considered the service industry? Maybe
the service industry. I mean.
You're dealing with people, right?
Kind of
blue collar.
I like to consider it blue collar.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
consider it blue collar.
Yeah.
We work with construction equipment. We work with many excavators and front end loaders, backhoes, skid steers. We have we dig in the road for mains and water services. I mean, I consider it blue collar. I get muddy and dirty on the daily.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah. That's I'm sure you got stories like that all day. But what we've been into this week.
Not a whole lot. It's been a good week. Work's been slowing down a little bit. We're wrapping stuff up at the shop. I'm actually in a sketchier part of Richmond. But it's all right. I mean,
at least it's Richmond.
Yeah, at least it's Richmond. At least I'm not driving an hour 15 each way or nothing like that. But I did run a PR mile. You ran it with me. You paced me on hour 24 of your 36-hour water fast, which I'm kind of ashamed that he paced me for this mile. But I ran an 8:37 miles, the fastest I've ever moved in my life. Pretty content with that. He kept running at that same pace, right, for another 2.5 miles. Yeah. I did not. I toned it back down to a calm 12:30. Finished another 1.5 miles, but it was good.
And Raina also ran 2.5 miles.
Raina ran it with us. Yeah.
So we did 30 minutes that night. I finished 3.5, and it was probably one of the better relaxing runs I've had here recently. Last night, sorry, I don't mean to sound.
Right.
I don't mean to sound like that.
Last
night I pushed it really hard though, and I kept my heart rate I ran 4 miles and 27:50, I think is what it was. So it was like a 6:58 pace is what it was. And my heart rate was like 172. It might have been.
It was that low?
17. I think it was pretty high for me.
Dude, I can't keep my heart rate down. Like after a mile, mine will just start to jump, especially if it's hot out.
Yeah.
It'll jump up to like 190. And I'll be running like slower than I can walk to keep it in zone 2.
Well, my last mile was 184 yesterday, but I was
pretty wild.
Average 174 heart rate, and I thought it was interesting. I ran 4 miles faster than I did 3.5 on Monday, which was kind of interesting. But last night I really pushed it and really got after it, and today I just kind of took it easy, just did 2. But anyways, this is Cole's show today. Cole, you're the guest.
It's all about you, bro.
It's all about you. What do you got? What do you want to talk about? Anything? Everything?
Whatever you want me to. I mean, name something. I'll talk about it.
Okay. This is interesting. This is an interesting thing.
We can talk about global events.
Global events?
Yeah. I don't know if you've been keeping up, bro, but it's
World War
time to be
III.
in the military, it looks like.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, I think us, the standard American people, I think we're going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I think that we shouldn't worry about it as much because we're sitting here very fortunate, very blessed in the situation we are. And I think worrying about it's above our pay grade. That's my personal opinion on it.
Hear me out, though. What if some of these countries have outdated knowledge and they think we still hold gas at the depot?
It's true.
That would suck.
That would absolutely
really suck.
Because if they're like, hey, they got some gas down there, we can wipe out pretty much half the state with a good enough wind, and we throw a big enough bomb over there, yeah, they're all done. I mean, granted, there's no more gas, so that's good for us, but they throw a big enough bomb, we all got to worry about something.
I think anything that somebody throws at America, we're going to intercept it enough,
Probably.
or just counterattack it.
Now, I will say, I've worked with plenty of West Virginians.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to. You boys are all right. And West Virginians, for the most part, are pro-Kentuckian. They'll avenge us, dude. Like, those are coal miners. Like, we got coal out in eastern Kentucky, but, like, they got coal. And, like, I don't want to be the guy that has to fight a coal miner.
Yeah.
Is it Saving Private Ryan where they like both pull a gun up and then they click and then they're like, we'll throw the gun, then we fight. I don't want to be fighting a coal miner, dude.
Yeah.
You know how strong their hands got to be? Just on your neck. It's scary. So, Robbie, you got me. If the depot goes and I'm gone, avenge my death.
I think we're going to be perfectly fine because we talked about this when we were in senior in high school. We're going to World War III. Here we go.
Yeah, we do.
So I mean, the
thing is though, is that this time we're doing the whole they got nukes. We have to kill them. And everybody's like, yeah, they don't have nukes, but I guess we're going to war. It's like,
do we need to cut that out?
I don't know. Do we?
I mean,
I don't know.
Nobody's going to care what we have to say.
I would say if there's any truth, the whole thing we just talked about, it's the West Virginians.
Yeah.
Only
West
'cause-
Virginians got us, dude.
You know Haley is from West Virginia, right?
I did, but I didn't think about it when I said it.
Yeah, her.
See, she's got you covered.
Yeah, she's got me covered. She was a coal miner in '73. You know.
I mean, it's in her blood, dude.
Yeah.
It is. She actually, no joke. She grew up about 10 minutes away from a coal mine.
Yeah.
And I drove like back towards it just to see. It's now discontinued.
Yeah.
Creepiest place I've ever seen. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's haunted. You know.
I feel like it almost had to be.
Yeah, it'd be kind of spooky. I wonder how many people like died in the coal mines for it to be haunted. Well,
For it to be
I mean,
No,
for it to be
no.
haunted, it'd have to just be one death.
Yeah. One really bad one. Do you believe in hauntings? I mean, while we're
I mean-
kind of here.
I don't know. It's a touchy subject because, I mean, I believe in spirits.
Yeah.
And I believe in, like... I'm not going to say I don't believe in hauntings. I believe if God willed it, it'd be real. And, I mean, obviously, he's, like, in the Bible, Jesus has cast demons out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe, those, like, ghosts that we see can also be considered demons. And they just need to be cast out,
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking about that, did y'all see that they've lost the Annabelle doll? Like the actual
They lost it?
They lost the Annabelle doll.
I knew they took it on tour, but how did they lose
They
it?
lost it.
They took it on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking it
Ed
all over the
Warren had
world.
one rule, and it was don't move the doll. And you know what we did? We were like, oh, let's show her around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've lost the Annabelle doll. I saw something about that. And people all over the internet are like, if you don't find this doll, we're screwed. So that, along with World War III, I mean,
Maybe
there was a
she's
time.
there.
she sent the missile strike.
You know, that closet was closed earlier, and now it's cracked open.
I noticed that.
Maybe she's waiting.
Or maybe it's just the fan blowing air circulating in the room and it caught a draft and pulled the door
Could
open.
be. Could be. You never know.
What are we talking about?
I don't. To kind of circle back though to my question, I'll answer it myself. I think there's a whole lot we don't know, and there's a whole lot we can't be sure of. I believe in spirits, like Cole said. I think there's a lot of possibilities with that.
Mm-hmm. I've been watching The Chosen this week. Was it Monday or Tuesday? I sat down and I was trying to find something. I think it was Monday night. I was trying to find something to watch. No, it was Tuesday night. I was trying to find something to watch. I was scrolling through like the PlayStation news feed and stuff, and Chosen pops up. I'm like, let's watch The Chosen. So I'm on like halfway through season. I'm on episode 7 of season 2 right now. I've been grinding them out since Tuesday, and something that Jesus said in that show was like, well, a lot of his parables and stuff. It's like some people's going to understand them, some people's not going to understand them, and that's okay. That's how it's meant to be. So there's a lot that we know right now, and there's a lot that's going to be known soon. And then him and also John the Baptist says, soon's a funny word, right? It's soon tomorrow. It's soon 10 days from now. It's soon a month from now. It's soon 1,000 years from now. Because then Jesus made the point, it's like, well, how long is a day here compared to a day in heaven, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so for God, for being soon could be 1,000,000 years from now up in heaven. So it's just going to your point about the understanding and stuff. It's like, well, there's a lot that we understand, but there's also a lot that we don't understand, and that's how it's meant to be. That's okay. So that's
I like that.
That's kind of interesting point I took from that. And also the best part about The Chosen is the fact that Andrew gives Simon Peter crap about being slow, and it's like a reoccurring joke, and it's so funny to me because in the book of John, John writes in a little detail. It's like they were running, I think from the temple, or when like Mary Magdalene and all the other women, they first go to the temple and they're like, oh crap, Jesus isn't here no more. And then they go back to wherever Jesus told or wherever the angel told him to, I forget. But I can't remember if Andrew and Peter are running to the tomb or away from the tomb. But one of them says, but the one got there before the other. So it's basically just calling him out for being slow.
Yeah.
And so there's a reoccurring joke in the Chosen that Simon Peter cannot run.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny. Every time it comes up, it cracks me up. Anyways, I recommend The Chosen. The very beginning of it, the first screen, it says disclaimer. A lot of this stuff is dramatized, and a lot of this stuff is adding backstory, but we're not adding anything to the Bible, and everything from the Bible is coming strictly from the Bible. So we're not trying to add nothing to it, but we're giving characters backstories that aren't technically biblical because we don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's given Simon Peter a backstory. It's given Andrew and James and John and just all the disciples, and it really follows the disciples more than it really follows Jesus, which is the chosen 12, right? And it follows them, and it's really neat just kind of seeing how they interacted, or how they would be believed to interact for the most part, and just the struggles that they've kind of lived through because like James, John, Andrew, and Simon Peter, they were fishermen, right? So it was interesting in the show. It has it has Andrew and Simon Peter, or we'll call him Simon because that's what he was before he met Jesus, was Simon. They had in the show they have this like very crippling tax debt from the Romans, and then and the tax collector Matthew, right? Matthew, the guy that wrote the book of Matthew, he was a tax collector, right? And it shows them being in debt to him, and then making a deal with like the Romans, and just it's all very neat. Just kind of the backstory that they're given, and kind of the storytelling, and just kind of how everyone like craps on Matthew the whole time, which Matthew would be a tax collector. It's interesting because you wouldn't think a lot of Hebrew people, a lot of Jewish people would be tax collectors. You think the Romans would be it, right? Mm-hmm. So for Matthew to be like a tax collector, he'd have to be really good with numbers, right? And write all that stuff down and keep up with all of it. Basically a good accountant. And he'd also have to kind of betray his people, betray his family and stuff. Like in the show, it says he left his family at like 13 because his family disowned him because he started working for the Romans and as a tax collector. So I mean, just kind of looking back and seeing like, oh crap, what these guys actually could have went through. Not saying this is exactly what happened because it's not really written in the Bible. All it says about Matthew is that he's a tax collector and then he's a follower of Jesus, right? But I don't know. It's just interesting. I was kind of geeking out over that this week, watching The Chosen. I'd recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime, and they're releasing this Sunday, or I guess today when the episode comes out, and then next week will be the final ones, and it's basically like the Last Supper and the crucifixion and all that stuff. And they're wrapping up season 5, so recommend watching it. You guys seen it?
I haven't.
I haven't, but I have seen. Have you seen The House of David?
I
haven't.
It's made by the same people.
Made by the same people. It's also on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It's a great show. It's all about David from David and Goliath.
Yeah.
And it starts off from when it was Saul.
Yeah.
Saul was the king at the time.
Yeah.
It starts off, like they're on the battlefield, and I can't remember what were the name of the people they were fighting at the time. The Amalekites. They were the people. They were the not carnivores. Cannibals. They were They were fighting the cannibal people, and they had won. But they had taken the king of the Amalekites. Mm-hmm. And was like putting on a big show and a big dinner and be like, aha, like we beat your whole country pretty much, and left them alive, even though it was Solomon that anointed. I can't remember who anointed Saul.
It wasn't. I don't know.
But you know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have to look it out. But
yeah.
He come in and was like, how dare you do this? God has given me a vision showing me what you're doing. And he come down from the hill and he grabbed the sword of the Amalekite that was made of human bone and teeth.
Yeah.
And just drove it right through this man and spoke his language saying you're gonna burn and all this other stuff, and then it just continues all the way to the point to where David was invited to the castle for Saul to play music because Saul now had like demons in his head. He had killed someone in his own castle, one of the servants, because he was freaking out.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way to the point to where he defeats Goliath, and they show you like exactly how tall Goliath was, and he, no joke, if he was standing outside this house, you would see him peeking over this window.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's terrifying that, a man can be, he was roughly like 10 to 12 feet.
Yeah. Knocked him out one stone, walked up, cut his head off.
Amen.
It's crazy. Because, when we were little, it's like, oh, he just killed him with the stone, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, he knocked him out, then he went and chopped his head off.
It was like, holy cow. They're like, oh my gosh. The story is a little more brutal than you remember.
Yeah. But anyways, it's pretty neat stuff with that. All right, Cole. So I kind of want to, I know in your form that you filled out, you said you'd talk about anything, but you'd also wanted, let me pull it up, I don't want to misquote it. You said that you'd like to talk about kind of your work in church and kind of what you do. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I'll start, from the beginning. I've went to church my whole life. I went to the same church with Gabe and his whole family. Pretty much all the same people.
And your whole family too.
My whole family too. They've always went and they still go and everything like that. And I've just been a part of the church the whole time. And I actually, before Gabe was asked to be the youth minister, I had several people in the church come up and ask me, "So are you gonna take Andrew's position? You gonna be the youth minister?" I was like, I have a full-time job that I am also studying for a license to get, that I have to study for once a year, and then after I get those 4 licenses, I have to continuously keep them up and keep them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to continue to study to know what I'm doing. So it's like, I can't. I wish I could if there was any other way. But around that same time, Andrew had asked me, because of something that happened at the church, he asked me if I would start teaching the little ones Sunday and Wednesday. I said, I can do every Sunday for sure, but not every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, that's fine. So I started teaching the kids that are, I'd say kindergarten through 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure once they hit 3rd grade, they actually went to Carmen's
class.
And, for the longest time, I've had Nova.
Uh-huh.
She's sweet. She's smart. I love Nova to death. And then I've had Gracie. I love Gracie to death. But some of her stories, and it gets old when you hear about Freddie Fazbear and Poppy Playtime every single Sunday. And when you try, my favorite story from teaching them is I was teaching them about Jonah and the whale, but it wasn't a whale. God, in the Bible, it just says Jonah was swallowed by a big fish. That's exactly how I read it to Nova and Gracie. And Gracie looks at me, she goes, my daddy said it's a whale, so it's a whale. I said, Gracie, it's in writing right here on the Bible. How old is Gracie? Like 8, 9?
Yeah.
She's in 1st or 2nd grade.
Yeah. And
I said, Gracie, it's right here in the Bible. Look, I showed her the Bible. And it was one of the ones with bigger print, so that way they can read it. Yeah. It said, Jonah was swallowed by the big fish. She goes, I can't even read that. Gracie, I said, go home, ask your dad, because her dad's the preacher. I said, ask your dad, what Jonah was swallowed by. She come back the next Sunday. I said, so what'd your dad say? She goes, he said, whale. And I went and I talked to him, and he goes, oh, no, I told her big fish. And I was like, okay. So she lied to me. Nova argued for a minute, but Nova is actually younger than Gracie. But she's able to read right now.
They get it. They all get into it.
Oh, my gosh. It was an argument. It was great. There was one day I gave them, after a lesson, I always let them color or play with blocks or whatever I have in that room. And, Gracie wanted to play with blocks, while Nova wanted to color. So I gave them, I laid out 2 blank pieces of paper, and I placed the blocks on the ground. Gracie got up, started playing with the blocks. Nova started coloring, and Gracie stands up. And I mean, like, Nova's like sitting down, so she's maybe up this tall, right?
Yeah.
Gracie stands up. She's maybe about this tall. She's, I mean, like, on top of Gracie. I mean, on top of Nova. Like, play blocks with me now. I was like, Gracie, we ask nicely. We don't tell. She goes, I want her to play blocks. I was like, she goes, I want to build a tower and I need her help. I said, well, you got to ask Nova. I said, Nova, do you want to play blocks with her? She goes, not really. I really want to color. Gracie, she started about throwing a temper tantrum. I said, Gracie, if you do that, I will put you in the corner. She goes, really, really heavy. And I was like, it's like, scream. I said, scream, I dare you right now. And I said, get in the corner. So she got in this corner, started screaming, and I'm surprised no one in your class ever asked because she was screeching.
Well, it's the kind of stuff we deal with at church. The little ones, they get in there and they get all excited and they start arguing with each other. You know, they're little kids. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
It's like when we went to, when we had VBS, 2 weeks ago, I didn't even talk about it last week or whenever. I can't remember what it was. But I guess it was 2 weeks ago, VBS was. And we'd have, oh yeah, like the daycare kids would come. And like we'd get a bus full of daycare kids. I have no clue how those people like that work at the daycare do it every day, every single day. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Because you just get a bunch like school teachers that do like the little kids, and you get a bunch of like a group of kids together, and like if you're coaching them in football, it's easy because you can just say, hey, if you act up, you're gonna run.
Yeah. Or
hey, like you're gonna do up downs if you don't shut up. You can't do that with these kids, so you're gonna make them do push-ups. Like hey,
people get in trouble for that.
Quit.
Kind of frequently, actually.
Yeah. It's like hey, quit talking. Then they sit there and look at you and they question your authority. It's like, no. Yeah. What are you supposed to do? You know? So it's just the people that work at the daycares and stuff like that. I couldn't do it. Could not do it.
Takes a patient person.
It does, and I like to think that I'm patient most of the times, but.
I don't know. Whenever we were in VBS, I think what really kept us in line was Jennifer Hall's wooden spoon. That was terrifying.
My mom would go around with that wooden spoon. She'd spank anybody and everybody.
Boy.
Oh, it didn't matter if she had permission from the parent or not. That kid act up, she'd whip it out. And she had it on her.
You're getting your mom in trouble right here.
She don't care.
Here, you know what?
She still does it now. She still carries her spoon in her purse right now.
Does she actually?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I took it one time and I put tally marks on it.
Like a sword.
Yeah. But it's still, if you go up to her and if like somebody's misbehaving, it's like I'll get my spoon out. She'll do it to the kids at church. She'll probably do it to the kids at the high school too. It's like, hey, pull out the spoon.
Boy, you know how
she'll wear you out too.
What kind of shock that would do to some of the kids now with the whole like soft parenting thing, where it's
gentle
like,
parenting.
Oh, use your words. Hands aren't for hitting. It's like, I'm about to wear you out with a spoon.
If I'm ever lucky enough to get a wife and have a kid, they're getting spanked. I'm sorry if you disagree with that. It's just how it's going to happen. Because I got spanked, and I probably deserved a lot of them.
You want to know who I'm going to send my kids to
Who?
whenever they act up in the future?
Your mom.
No, Marianne Willis.
Marianne Willis.
Oh my gosh! So
His
listen to this. My
is
grandmother.
the most terrifying woman I ever met in my life.
So, whenever so our church annually every single year ever since we were little. I mean, it's been probably over 20 years.
It's been 45 years they've been doing this.
45 years they've been doing an outdoor live nativity.
Yeah.
And every single boy was a shepherd. Every single girl was an angel. You had Mary, Joseph, and the same doll we've had, I'm pretty sure, for those 45 years. And we have sheep and a donkey. The donkey actually almost kicked someone a couple years ago. I don't remember who that was.
They're called Knopp sheep, too. Well, they are now. They're marked Knopp sheep.
And then we have King Herod, the scribes, the wise men, Elizabeth, Mary. We even have, what was it? The prophet Isaac? Isaiah. I'm deaf or blind, whatever it is. Anyway, but all the shepherds, you got a bunch of little boys. There, at the time, whenever me and Gabe were little, there was a lot more of us than what there are now.
Yeah.
And Marianne didn't, run it.
But she ran it.
But she ran it. She didn't run it. She ran it. She was like the leader of the shepherds at the time. She wouldn't go out there and put on the play. It was too cold for Marianne. So she'd send us out there. She would get us hot hands every year. The grown-ups that were the shepherds, they got staves.
Like metal poles.
And every kid wanted to take one. Oh, but one of these little boys messed up. Marianne will come in. I mean, listen, it still chills my bone. She's my grandmother. She is still like this.
Marianne walks in the room, you sit up straight.
She walks in here.
Straight face.
She looks at you with that hard stare. And you're just, what? And she's like, did you say something? You go, no. She goes, I want it quiet in this room. Because we would every bit of this, everyone that was part of this play, there was maybe, at the most I ever remember, there was at least 40 to 50 people in this nativity with angels, shepherds.
Yeah, I remember when we were younger.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was full. That's when we were just real little, too. I think I was, 10, which I think Gabe...
I'd be 8 or something like that.
Yeah, and then Bryce done it. Cooper was... Cooper was 2 at the time, so he didn't even do it. But I remember all of us trying to get ready for it. All the shepherds, they're little boys. They're running around, hooping and hollering. The angels are all these little girls. They're screeching whenever someone runs right by them. And all the old people getting ready in all the offices and everything like that. Marianne walk in. Everyone sit down. Every shepherd straighten up
real quick.
We'd stop. And if one little boy was running, and where she was my grandma, I was the first to sit right up straight. Bryce was the second. Gabe was usually the third.
I'm sitting in there.
But a little boy that hadn't done this before, he's running up. She grabs him and she wears them out. I mean,
I don't remember that.
I saw kids cry from there. I mean, Andrew Farmer, he's terrified of Marianne.
Yeah.
She's my grandmother. That woman can cook, okay? But
she can whip up a meal.
She can whip up a meal. But she can also whip up a child, too. So there was two women that every kid was afraid of in the church. It was Jennifer Hall and Marianne.
And Sandy Moore.
Sandy Moore. I had her as an English teacher. Did you know
dropping everybody.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Maymom's going to listen to this, by the way.
Well, these aren't bad name drops. I mean, because you don't see that anymore.
I love her. I was down in her house earlier. I was helping her set up her iPad.
Yeah.
And we joke around that Max is the favorite.
Yeah.
She consistently says that she will whip all of us. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she has a switch hidden under her bed.
She's gonna whip you after this podcast.
Switch.
Just for the heck of it.
Oh, every single Sunday.
Southern. That's some game knowledge.
Yeah.
No, whenever I see Mima at church or something, I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. All right, I love you. She goes, okay. Gives me a hug. Smacks my back like that. I'm a grown man. I don't cry. That makes me want to cry. So it's awful.
But
love that woman.
But you don't see that anymore though. Like people, like the discipline.
Yeah.
Like
because people are afraid.
I guess I don't know.
CPS is a thing.
Huh?
I got spanked once.
You've only been spanked once?
Pretty sure it was one time.
Really?
And I was terrified of getting in trouble as a kid.
Really?
I think it genuinely really negatively affected me. in my adult life because of how scared I was to get in trouble as a kid. It's like in school, I wouldn't do anything to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like at home, I would do my best to stay out of trouble.
Is this why you're like deathly afraid of getting jumped, like you talked about in the early days of the podcast?
No, I don't think so. I think the jump thing is just being powerless. Like I would, to go back to the gorilla, I would rather 1v1 a gorilla than 1v1 or 1v6 6 other people.
I would take my chances against the 6 people.
I would too. I like honestly.
I say that now as like a hyperbole, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I probably would take the 6. But like the thought of like not even knowing where to. At least with like one gorilla, I've got one target. Like I can.
Yeah, I can always run away from 6 people. I ain't gonna outrun a gorilla.
So I can't run away from 6 people.
Yeah, you can.
Like
you can.
6 people.
You underestimate yourself.
Yeah.
You just gotta do some of that parkour, you know.
Some of that what?
Parkour. You just gotta jump around.
Last time he did parkour, bad things happened. Dude.
Yes. Did you ever see it?
That video
I don't think
is
so.
also on the internet somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Okay, well,
I'm not gonna say where.
No, please.
But it's with kind of the same category of the mud wrestling video. It's out there on YouTube somewhere. I'm not gonna say where it's at or how to find it. But
if you plan on doing parkour, don't have AirPods in your back pocket because if you hit the ground and the AirPods are a buffer between you and the earth, it'll bruise you really deeply.
I'm gonna be looking up this video after this.
Yeah, it's a good one to watch.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's hilarious, but you see, I wouldn't get away. I'd whip myself trying to get away.
So you've only been spanked one time?
Yeah, I got spanked one time by Dad. I think it was in this room.
Really?
Yeah.
How many times have you been spanked, Cole?
So, okay, listen, I wasn't like a troublemaker kid. I promise you I wasn't. I tried to be my best. I was mannerful. I wasn't smart, but I was nice.
Yeah.
Everything like that. But I'd mess up. I'd act up. I'd talk back, you know. I'd get whipped, you know. I'd act up in school. I'd come home. I'd get whipped. I got an F. Get whipped. My favorite time, it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my, like, childhood was I think I got in trouble at school. I can't remember what it is. Oh, I remember what it was. A little boy made me mad, and I do not condone this. But I got really mad because I can't remember what we were talking about, and I'm pretty sure I got so mad I looked at and I just started choking this kid. I was in elementary school. Okay, I wasn't just in elementary school. I was in kindergarten. I was going to say, I was in kindergarten, South Irvin, specifically, and we were in the lunch line in the gymnasium waiting to get food, and I just reached up and started doing that, and it looked like a cartoon, and to me, it felt like 20 minutes that I was doing that, but it was in reality like 3 seconds. I just had my hands like full on around his neck.
Did you get pulled off again? Like,
yes.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, like vividly.
That's
I remember.
incredible.
I just don't remember what we were arguing about. That's what makes me so mad about the whole thing. I was like choking this kid out at this point. I think it was for no reason. And he was like, I can't remember. I think it was a teacher that pulled me off because all the other kids were staring at them. I was like, so all the teachers like, what are y'all doing? Pulled us off, you know. Like one teacher grabbed us both by our shirts, pulled us apart. And I was scratching to get back over at him. And I got sent to the principal's office. He's like, now listen, we're not going to suspend you or anything, but if you do that again, we're going to have to suspend you. I went home, and I remember Dad was yelling. I mean, I am scared of my dad still because I respect him. I mean, he's bigger than me. He could whoop me.
Yeah. So
I don't test him. But I remember one time, I thought to myself, because he grabbed my arm, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was going to whip me. But every time he whipped me, I would never stop it. I've only got whipped bare butt once. I've never been whipped by a belt like they always threatened to do to me. But I remember Dad was going to whip me one time. And I remember he grabbed me by the arm. And I thought to myself, this is a genius idea. why don't I, like, drop down out of his hand a little bit? He smacks my back. It won't hurt. And, I mean, he was back here. He come down. He was going to hit my butt. I dropped down a little bit. Small of my back. I mean, perfectly. My shirt pulled up because I was wearing a long sleeve shirt. Shirt pulled up. Smack against my bare back. I cried for what felt like an hour. I was dying, and he was like, ah, crap. He felt bad. It's like, I'm sorry. Don't tell your mother. Don't tell your mother. I was like, ah. I was crying so bad. He was freaking out. I remember. I think that's like one of the last couple of times I've been whipped as a child. That was. I thought this is genius. This won't hurt as bad. So I just. Ever since then, I don't think I had gotten whipped as hard, but I still got whipped because he was afraid I would do it. He never grabbed me by the arm ever again, though. But I acted a lot better after that for a long time.
Do you remember what you did while you got whipped?
I think I yelled at Dad because I didn't want to clean my room. And I'm pretty, I could be remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he felt like terrible about it and like was more upset than I was. DK's a softie. Everybody's scared of, like, every boy that's ever been to the house.
Yeah.
Is like, a dad.
Yeah.
And like, I know that he's big softy, but like, I guess he's intimidating if you just meet him.
Yeah, because I mean, he's real tall.
He is tall.
Yeah.
And he's got that, like, blank expression he can give. A very stoic individual.
Going back to what Cole was doing there, we all have situations like that here on Be Good Your Brother. We learn to grow from them. We don't choke out people anymore.
Yeah, I don't condone it. I never choked in with it.
I'll tell a story. When I was in preschool, I remember this like it was yesterday. Another story about me getting whipped. Definitely deserved it. So I was in preschool and I was at lunch or something. We were at lunch and either the kid was he took something off my plate, or we were just arguing or going back and forth or whatever. I can't remember why, but for whatever reason, I just punched the kid in the mouth. I just hauled back and I punched him in the mouth. And I remember I got in bad trouble. So they're like, and like nothing else happened. And so they were going to take me, I don't remember like what happened in between, but they were going to take me to the principal's office. And, but they couldn't, she was out. She was out on lunch. She was like at Pizza Palace or whatever. Or, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That's a long time ago.
About that.
She was out eating lunch in town or something. And so, you know, right after lunch, what do? You have nap time, right? Mm-hmm. So I go from lunch to nap time, and I have the best nap I've ever taken in my life. I remember it vividly. I remember laying there on them mats and just having the best snooze of all time. And so after nap time, they're like, all right, after nap time, we're taking you to the principal's office. I'm like, okay. And I remember I was in Miss Palmer's room at South Irvin, and her room was the very last room on the, like when you walk in the door, is the very last one at the very end of the hallway. Mm-hmm. And the principal's office is right in the middle, or like right in the entrance. And so it's a long walk, long haul down from Miss Palmer's room to the principal's office. And I remember like joyfully skipping to the principal's office because I was pumped. Because every time I went to the principal's office before, it was for doing something good. Like you get in the treasure chest, you get a piece of candy or something. You know, so I'm pumped. I'm going to the principal's office. I'm having the best time of my life. I get in there thinking, I remember vividly skipping down the hallway. I was so happy. I was skipping down the hallway. And we get there, and she just chews me out. And she has my mom on the phone. And so what I'd do, I'd ride the bus from South Irvin to Estill Springs, because Mom worked at Estill Springs, in the yellow wing in the first door on the left, or the first door on the right when you walk in the door. And I remember that vividly. and the principal chewed me out in the principal's office. And I remember getting off the bus, and I remember her saying that Mom was like waiting for me at Estill Springs after school. And I remember getting off the bus, walking through the door, just like shaking in my boots because I knew Mom was waiting for me. I remember I walk in the door, and I don't know if she was, but I like to think this, thinking back in my head, I can just imagine her standing there with the spoon, just slapping in her hand, just ready. And she wore me out, which I deserved, because you don't need to be punching people in the face.
It's so funny that you punched a kid.
And you don't remember what for.
Took a nap and then stood to the principal's office.
True story.
Like there was no disciplinary action between punching a kid, lunch, and nap time.
I know.
They're like, oh, Gabe just cracked it. All right, they're good. We'll live a bit.
But there could have been, like, but I just remember, I was 4 years old.
I bet it didn't hold a candle to what your mom did.
No, Mom wore me out. But, which I deserve. I mean, looking back at it, she probably just went like, all right, don't do that anymore. But, like, looking back at it, I mean, you're a little kid getting whippings. What hurt more was the fact, not that, like, actually the spanking hurt. It was the fact that you're in trouble and your mom is upset with you. That's what hurt more than actually getting spanking. Because, like, I never got, like, abused. Like, when I say I got whipped, it's not like I was getting beat or nothing. I'd just be like, something like that, It's nothing like, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. I think discipline's a good thing. And I don't think people discipline enough anymore. So, if you take anything from me, discipline your kids.
Hit your kids.
Discipline your kids.
Discipline your kids. I'm sorry. That was
discipline your kids.
Discipline your kids.
I'll be honest with you.
There's a huge difference.
To me, the most terrifying part was always the ride home when you're with your parents. You know how much trouble you're in.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to get whipped. I'm going to get whipped. So, like, when I was a kid, my first instinct, if I'm going to get whipped, run to my room, put on extra pants.
Yes.
And layer up.
Layer up.
It never mattered though, because you'd still be getting whipped, and then your parents would be like, "All right, you're gonna pull your pants down. I'm gonna whip you," and you're like, "Crap!" So you pull out all 5 breeches. And they're like,
I do not relate to this.
I mean, looking back on it, it's hilarious, right? But at that time, it's awful. But if we didn't get disciplined as children, I don't believe I wouldn't be as mannerful or as nice as I am now. Not trying to say like I'm a great person. I'm not the best person, but because of that, I know my manners. I'm as nice as I can be to everyone, and I'd act up in church. I got disciplined. I learned to listen more in church. I learned more about what I should and shouldn't do.
Yeah, I think the whole. I don't have kids. I don't have to raise kids, but this kind of sounds weird, but I'm around kids a lot,
Yeah.
Whether it's coaching or whether it's at church as the youth minister, and you can tell the difference between a kid that has been disciplined and a kid that hasn't. A kid that has grown up with kind of just, good role models in their life, and a kid that hasn't. And it's interesting how different, and it's not the kid's fault. It's not the kid's fault, but it's interesting how that, just kind of that aspect of, like, maybe something could have changed here, something different could have happened in this situation, or what happened different between this kid and this kid's life, and why are they different, and just, it's just stuff to think about when you are growing up. Like, you're married now, you're about to be married, and just like when you're growing up, and someday down the line, if I'm ever lucky enough to have a wife and kids, I'd like to think about stuff like that. It's like, I'd want to raise my kid to be the best possible version of him or herself that they can be, and I feel like that would be my job, to help them in that way. And if they mess up, correct them. You know, if they do good, reward them. You know, but people that just go around is like, oh, that's okay. I know you just caused this very bad action to happen, and this
big emotions,
and just have this big old bad thing, but there's not going to be any consequences.
Yeah,
I don't like how that happens. How people deal with that. Anywho, I could be pushing people's buttons right now. I'm sorry if I.
We coached together.
Yeah.
Knowing some of the kids on the teams and knowing their parents, it was like, that tracks.
Yeah.
And like, so many different, because everybody's different. There's so many, like, there were so many different ways that went. Like, you knew some kids that were just not disciplined at all, and it showed a lot in football practice.
Yeah.
And then you had some kids that just, like, honestly, weren't well taken care of.
Yeah.
And you could tell.
I hate to sound judgmental. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just stating it. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You know? And at the end of the day, you're allowed to do whatever you want to and raise your kid however the way you want to. I mean, but...
I ain't got to raise them. That's a good point.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on it.
Can I take a quick time out? I have to text my boss. He's called me like 5 times.
Okay. That's fine.
I can do
Pee break.
Okay. I'll just say this last thing about the whole discipline talk, okay? The only thing I'll say is, like you said, you know, you could tell the difference between kids that have been disciplined and the kids that haven't been disciplined. I think with kids that are being gentle parented and they're not very well disciplined, I think some of those parents are a mix between two things. There are some parents who are overly disciplined as kids, aka abused. So they think I'm never gonna hit my child like that, but I'll talk to him sternly. Well, that doesn't work. So now they're not listening. Now you got kids that are screaming and screeching, saying like no to your authority. And like I understand you went through a traumatic thing, but you got to understand a little bit of discipline doesn't hurt a kid. And then you got those parents that went to child behavioral classes, and they learn that now is the time of telling the kid no. But that's it. No. I've seen kids like that. And I've also met some kids that don't know the word no. And I told a kid no once in my class. I'm not going to say who it is. But I told that kid no. And oh my gosh, did I hear nothing but screaming. It was so bad that that Amy Farmer had to come in and be like, it's a woman I don't want to get on the bad side of.
Such a classic podcast thing to do. Here we are, 3 guys in our 20s. How many kids do we have between the 3 of us?
0.
Oh, none, not a 1. And we're telling y'all how to parent your kids. To be fair, though, we have all... I mean, you've been around the kids' church. You've been around kids' church and coaching every sport that Estill County has to offer.
All ages.
I've coached football for a little bit. And so we do... I don't want to, completely validate us.
We're not professionals.
But take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Because...
You ain't got to listen to us.
Huh?
I said, you ain't got to listen to us.
No, I have to listen.
This is just
and
our...
you probably should.
This is our opinion.
Honestly.
At least not on this topic, because we don't have kids. But...
We're working on dad lore, though.
We are working on dad lore.
Running that race is going to be some serious dad lore.
You texted me, he's like, hey, we might have to, switch something up, or... Or is that for something? Is that later?
It's for later.
Cut that out.
Cut that out.
Cut that out.
Mr. Knopp, cut that out.
Raina, look it up.
Happy birthday to Mr. Knopp. Late birthday.
Yes, it is a happy. When was it? Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
He's out out west in an RV. Living
He's out there
life right now.
Riding horses. What in the world? Cheers to you, buddy. You're the best telecommuting podcast producer I've ever met.
We should have put him in the credits for all of them.
Really
Does he actually do?
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't do a thing.
Nothing. Have you watched Dad's YouTube videos?
I've seen some of them.
I thought it was so funny. The first one, he gives Jed like 8 different titles. He's like, our producer here is gonna have a taste test.
Just pans over to the
And then
dog.
Jed's like, he got big.
The one with I love the cuts and stuff that he makes in those videos. Yeah. Like the edits and stuff, they're pretty good. Shout out Real Bites with the Kirbys. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Real Bites with the Kirbys. Go check them out.
I'm gonna subscribe to him right after
Real
this.
Let's
Bites with
go.
the Kirbys.
Another
I saw that they posted a video like the shotgun peppers or I haven't watched it yet.
They're called shotgun shells.
Shotgun shells.
It's like a pasta thing, and I haven't watched
Just
it
wrapped
either.
with bacon and
But
like
Dad was
stuff.
telling me about it. Yeah.
It makes me hungry every time I watch one.
I think whenever we go out, we're gonna do a burger cook-off. So I'm gonna do smash burgers. Dad's gonna do smoked burgers.
Dad's grilling.
Dad will be grilling.
Put me on the eggs.
I will. You did all right.
See, I redeemed myself at his wedding with eggs.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Little word of advice or little story time. We every February, every organization in our church does a.
This was at the lock-in.
Was this at the lock-in?
incident.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. Well,
Because I remember Taylor
guess-
vividly staring me down at 3 in the morning. Like,
Okay.
These eggs suck.
okay. So at 8 in the what was it? You said 3 in the morning.
Yeah. It was a lock-in.
At the church
New
at a
Year's
lock-in.
Eve. New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Eve. It was frigid outside. It was cold as can be. Right? But, I mean, we were just taking a small break. Gabe said, hey, I'm going to make myself some eggs. Everyone's like, okay. So we all walk in there. He's making eggs with a pan.
Andrew's whipping up pancakes. We got bacon rolling and stuff. We got this whole
I mean,
breakfast.
we got the whole thing rolling. We need to remind you, we still got like 3 or 4 hours until this lock-in is done. So this is like a quick midway snack.
Yeah, right through the middle.
Well, this man hands out all the eggs, right? I mean, he made a lot of eggs.
I probably made 2 dozen eggs.
It was ridiculous.
I made 2 dozen
And
eggs.
everyone was ready to dig in. That with the pancakes, the bacon.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I made the bacon. It was turkey bacon.
Yeah, it was nasty. The turkey bacon.
The
was
turkey
awful.
bacon, everyone loved that. They loved it more than the eggs. Because as soon as Taylor took a bite of the eggs, she goes, "These are fishy." And I'm like, what? Everyone took a bite. Oh my gosh, these taste like fish. These are nasty. And Gabe was like, "These are good." And I looked at him and was like, "Did you put milk in them?" No.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I made it everything. I made the eggs perfect.
I am.
But the problem was, the pan that I used was also used for a fish fry like a couple months earlier.
A couple months earlier.
And
it had
it
already
was
been
not-
used a couple times.
And it was not cleaned that well. And it was tasted like straight fish.
Old fish. I am wholly against milk in eggs.
Why?
When I made them
Because it's not-
when I made them at your wedding, I didn't put milk in
I
them.
know you didn't, and they were good.
Are you lactose intolerant?
Huh?
Are you lactose intolerant?
Yes. That's not why though. That
I
will
am-
not stop me from eating cheese.
I have recently
Milk,
learned
milk.
I think I am lactose intolerant.
You definitely are. I can tell you that right now. You did that.
Self-diagnosed. Well,
He's got a base medical background.
every time we have a dinner at church, me, him, and Andrew will sit down to start eating. And Andrew looks at me and starts a timer on his phone. He's like, we'll see how long you last. There's the one time I devoured my food. I had to poop in 11 minutes. As soon as I ate, I had to poop in 11 minutes. I ate a whole thing of mac and cheese. It was everything. So it hit me like that. I was like, Andrew's like, how much longer you got? I was like, I got 30 seconds. I took off. Like, you ever seen Austin Powers?
Yeah.
You know, the fat guy? He's like, I got the turtle head pork. That's what it felt like as I was. So every time we sit down and we eat, it's always going to be something about setting a timer for me. And
there's a few things stuck in life. Death, taxes, and Cole having to take a number 2.
Oh,
crack it down.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up. I saw this TikTok one time at the beginning, at the end of last year, right?
Nothing.
I did, huh?
Oh no.
Okay. I saw this TikTok talking about a man's poop count. In the month of October, he pooped 209 times. 209? Pooped like 20 times and like 20 to 40 times. Huh?
For October?
For the month of October in 2024.
Okay. October.
And like he posted this New Year's Day. And I seen it. And I thought, it's genius. Listen, ever since I was little, I have always pooped a lot, right? So I thought,
learning.
You know what?
Here.
I'm going to start a poop count. I didn't keep it going after January. I made it to, I'm pretty sure, January 15th or 16th. I have pooped 45 times.
Oh my gosh.
So
insane.
I have insane bowel movements.
I've never seen anything like this guy before.
Dad believes I have Crohn's disease or something, and I have to schedule a doctor's appointment, I think, to talk to my doctor about it.
That guy was putting up 6.8 poops a day.
Oh, no.
You said 45 by the 15th.
45
3 a day. That's 3 a day.
Oh, there's sometimes
one
it's
after
4 a
every
day.
meal.
That's insane.
Well, listen. In the TikTok with the guy that pooped 209 times,
Oh,
he said that he had
Very
like
calculate.
diarrhea
Yeah.
because he was in like the Bahamas or something like that, and like that 209 times
Yeah.
was like through 2 weeks mainly. And then the next month in November, he pooped 9 times. That was it.
So
So that guy was just sick.
we need to learn something from this. When we bring a guest on, we need to have a few more talking points prepared. Because we might end up talking about poop counts.
That's all I'll say about that. That's all I'll say.
So come back to episode 23 and we'll review our poop count for the month.
Y'all want to?
4 weeks.
I'll start it tomorrow. So when
Can I track that on my Garmin?
Write it down on Strava.
Good effort. Marathon pace.
Great kudos.
you finish this one in 15 minutes, congratulations.
New
Hey, Jake, that was one of your best efforts. Top 5.
Okay, the last thing I'll say about the poop stuff, okay, is that you can ask Gabe about the Krakatoa videos, and I know that you already know
You
about them.
said no to the Krakatoa video.
I did not. I said, well, try not to.
Well,
Okay,
try
okay.
not to what?
I'm not. These are videos that are not going out. Like no one will ever see these videos.
Krakatoa.
Krakatoa. If anyone knows what that's from,
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Sorry,
Oh.
but
Have you ever seen... Where is this going? Have you ever seen the poop lady?
The poop lady.
poop lady. What are you talking about?
The TLC, the Hoarder show. And
Yeah.
she's...
Isn't that like My Strange Addiction?
No, it wasn't My Strange Addiction. It was just the Hoarder show. And she's got like buckets of feces just everywhere. It's like in milk jugs and like it's everywhere. And then at one point she was like, "Fine, I'll have one more meal in my house and then the party's over." And they're like, What? No, like everything's contaminated. Literally everything in your house is contaminated. Just like, guess party's over. It's crazy.
Where is this going?
I don't know.
If anyone's still listening, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you clicked on this, honestly. Me and Gabe are going to come in and record tomorrow so we can actually post one on Sunday.
That's hurtful. That's hurtful. I knew y'all didn't want me.
I'm just kidding. We're kidding.
No, this is definitely going up. There's
This is too much good stuff.
there's too much time and laughter invested in this.
Okay, I'll change the subject to something a little more tame, okay? So y'all are going to Colorado
Okay.
to go see TK, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have been to Colorado Springs for a week once before a few summers ago.
Mm-hmm.
I have done the incline.
Oh, boy.
It is brutal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, no matter how you think about it, there's a false peak.
Yes.
And
I got to that.
That it does suck when you get to that, because then you see just how much more you have left. You're like, I might as well just walk back down.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going up with a buddy that had went into the Army, and he was stationed out there in Colorado. And me, him, and my buddy Gabe Brooks, we went and done it with him, the incline. And I remember getting halfway there, we stopped for a water break. I mean, this place was absolutely slam packed on a random Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Right? And, well, we stopped right there and we saw this woman. She was running up it. Big old backpack on, running up, never stopped. We were like, you running this? She goes, yeah, I'm on my third lap. We're like, how? How are you on the third time? And before we even made it to the top, she had already been coming back down, running back down. I'd be like, I'd be afraid to fall to my death running down
happened
this.
to me.
But my favorite part of getting to the top is all the beautiful stuff that you see. But I think my all-time favorite part was the actual hiking trail that went down. Like, instead of going back down the incline, there is a nice, simple hiking trail, and you can actually watch the Cog Railway go up the mountain, up Pikes Peak. By the way, I've also been to the top of Pikes Peak. Beautiful up there. And there is there's people that will climb that mountain and then hop on the train to go back down. But it's an hour ride up, an hour ride down. But, I mean, you get to see, like, sometimes you can see buffalo up there, mountain goats, prairie dogs, and all kinds of other animals that live in Colorado on that mountain.
Yeah.
And they had actually built when I went, they had just recently built the visitor center up there. And you can buy these little donuts that they sell up there. And whenever you get on the train and you start going back down, the whole way you can feel them deflating. Because where they're made up there with a little bit thinner air. So once you get down there, it's like the atmospheric pressure is now pushing down on it.
That's cool.
I've also went to Manitou Springs, which is like it's kind of like a weird little pigeon forge.
Yeah, I love it.
There's a spot there. I remember there was all kinds of these stores, and the girls wanted to go in and look around and enjoy it, and us guys were like, we don't really much care for these kind of stores. But we were walking around just following the girls, and then me and my buddy Gabe and the other guy that was there, we saw like a little bitty sign that just said arcade. Like, y'all want to go to the arcade? I said, sure. Walked down this little alley, sketchy alley, but there are arcade games from the 40s up, and they use pennies, dimes, nickels, and quarters.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest thing ever. Because there's no one in any of these. I mean, there's one guy that's just walking around with like a change thing. You can give him like a couple dollars.
Yeah.
You can say, I need 100 pennies. He'll just give you a roll of pennies.
Huh.
And he'll give you whatever you ask for.
Yeah.
Other than that, every other machine, there were hundreds of games. Yeah. From the 40s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way to today's time.
That's cool.
I also went horseback riding in the Garden of the Gods. The Garden of the Gods is beautiful. I love it. I've also been to Pueblo, Colorado, where they have the Great Sand Dunes of America. And I actually went sledding and sandboarding down there. And I have a video where I wiped out going down like about a 50-foot drop. Like, I mean, it was like a little steeper than a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just rolling all the way down. And it's like midsummer in Colorado. Like, you think, like, when I hear Colorado, I think South Park. I'm thinking there's snow on the ground all the time. The sand was so hot that we couldn't, like, bear to walk more than, like, 10 steps before we have to, like, get off of our feet.
Jeez.
It was scorching hot.
Melting your shoes and stuff.
But Pueblo, Colorado is 2 hours away from Colorado Springs. But you actually drive by the tallest mountain in Colorado. It's Mount Blanco. I think that's Mount Blanco. I can't remember. It's got a white peak, but it's like a few hundred feet taller than Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's crazy because you're driving through these mountains and these hills for 2 hours, and then all of a sudden you get out of the mountains, and then you see more mountains, but right in front of that there's just a random patch of sand, and it's just dunes and desert, and they say it goes on for a couple miles.
Cool.
I didn't know I was that boring.
No,
I was looking up Pikes
I'm
Peak
trying
right
to
here.
get
I'm
the
trying.
dog.
No, you're fine.
I'm pulling up Pikes Peak. I'm trying to see this on a map.
So I looked at land in Pueblo because I've tinkered with the thought of moving. Don't get too excited. I've tinkered with the thought of moving, and I was looking for land out there, and found like dirt cheap land, like just south of Colorado Springs. I was like, "Where's this at?" Pueblo. Nothing there though. There's no.
Oh no!
Like,
I drove.
No water, no electric. You got nothing on all this land, but it'll be like 120 acres for a good handshake.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. We drove. I remember we were driving. Fun fact: we were driving Marianne's van. By the way, I got told if I even put a scratch in it, I was dead. But we drove. As soon as we left Colorado Springs and we got out of the town, there was no other town until you got to like right before Pueblo. So you were an hour and a half into this drive.
Yeah.
And you come into this little bitty town, probably as big, if not smaller, than Irvin. And I mean, pretty little place. I'm pretty sure I seen an old-fashioned saloon there. Like, it was like no joke with the swinging doors. I was like, I was just waiting for a tumbleweed to cross the road. So I got out of that town. And like I said, that's whenever we come up on the sand dunes. We had another 30-minute drive. And like you can see these sand dunes for 30 minutes while you're driving that way.
Crazy.
While they're still like 10, 15 miles out.
Huh. That's cool.
So
It's so flat. Like,
it is.
you'll be amazed by how flat Colorado is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, level.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
go
it's
up.
it's crazy because you're driving down the interstate and then you get off the exit to go down to go to Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And you got like another 2 hours on your drive once you
Yeah.
get off the interstate.
2.
Is it 2 or is it 1?
I thought it was like an hour.
I think it's like an hour because you're driving through nothing but farmland and wind
You
turbines.
get off there and there's that Sinclair gas station.
Yes. I
And then
remember
you
I
go
stopped
down
there.
that highway and you go through like several little towns like Winston. Like,
Yeah.
it's only
Okay.
a town because there used to be a post office. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go through those little towns and then you just like you take a right and there's Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Now, I love Colorado Springs. I love Colorado to death, and I would go again and again. That was my favorite vacation I have ever taken. But the drive sucks. 16 hours. From St. Louis, right? You have to drive through St. Louis. You can see the St. Louis Arch,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my uncle, not my uncle, my great uncle, he told me before I went out there because he's been to Colorado before. He used to live up in North Dakota. He still lived here before he moved up to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, "Don't go through Chicago. It's the worst place to go. Don't go through Chicago." I was like, "It doesn't have us going nowhere near Chicago." 'Cause Chicago's up here, St. Louis is down here. Like, I ain't going through there. So anyway, we started driving, and got St. Louis, saw the St. Louis Arch, awesome, right? We drove, and finally, after St. Louis, there were some towns here and there between the interstate. Then you got to Mississippi and Kansas.
Kansas sucks.
Kansas is the worst.
You mean Missouri?
Is it Missouri?
You said Mississippi. You and me going through Mississippi.
No, Kansas City is half and half in two different states.
Yeah, in Missouri.
Is it Missouri?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Mississippi.
Sorry. Whoops.
I got confused there. I'm like, why are you going
He's
to
about to
Missouri?
get you.
Yeah, apparently.
He's coming over the desk.
Anyway, no. So we were driving, and I remember we said on the first day, like I drove. I remember 10 hours to get there, and we were driving through. Kansas City, and we said that as soon as we get past Kansas City, one of these hotels, we started looking up hotels while I was driving. I said, find us a good one, a nice one to stay at, and we'll stay there for the night, and in the morning we'll go. And we found one. There's a Jack in the Box right next to it. Right, we'd never had Jack in the Box. Went in there. Man was in there screaming about getting his check, saying, I quit. I'm going to shoot this place up. I said, let's go. We still got our food. I got my chicken strips and I left. By the way, don't ever get Jack in the Box. Worst place I've ever eaten in my life.
They're winning another sponsor.
I'm sorry, but you don't want them as a sponsor, okay?
Yeah, we're not getting sponsored anytime soon.
They couldn't pay me enough to say anything nice about them. I'm just saying. But,
that bad.
Huh?
That bad.
It was awful. Because then the manager was in there, was screaming at him. It was awful. Anyway, we got into our hotel. It was nice. It was a Holiday Inn Express. But we're pretty sure that place was haunted because we heard a bunch of knocking in the middle of the night. There were no other vehicles there. There was no one else staying in this hotel. Nobody.
There's the owner of the hotel.
We were on the first
whole mirage, dude. You didn't stay in a hotel. You never even went to Jack.
I don't know.
It's all just a
Man, I don't know. Well, we woke up at 4 or 5 in the morning, right? We had 6 hours remaining, so we just booked it. Jumped through Kansas, stopped a couple of times. There was nothing there, right?
Not even a Buc-ee's?
Not even a Buc-ee's.
Kansas is so bad that if you look up, I can look up the route to Colorado.
It's straight.
And it's so bad that, there's a curve in the interstate, and, it does a little S action.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I remember driving that.
Yeah.
I remember this curve and that one.
Really?
Yeah.
The farthest west I've been driving is St. Louis.
I hate driving through St. Louis.
I was also, it was 2016, however old I was. Or was it 2015? A long time ago.
Yeah.
Billy Hamilton was playing for the Reds. We went to a Cardinals game and got scammed out of tickets by this one guy.
Tough.
But we still went into the game and went and got our money back from that guy. So he's like, oh, you can still sit here if you want to. And we're like, no. You scammed us out of $60.
I want to show y'all this, but as we were driving through Kansas, we needed gas desperately, and there was one sign that was that had a gas sign on it, but it just said gas.
Yeah.
It wasn't a specific company, right? Because they had a lot of those out there. But I remember when we drove out there, it was a 10-minute drive back into the town, and we saw a bunch of stuff for Czech Festival, like Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
It's Czech Festival. We're like, did we just roll into a different country? What are we doing? And then we drove by this thing. It's a Czech Republic egg. It's the world's biggest Czech Republic egg. This is Gabe Brooks standing in front of it.
Oh my God.
The thing is 20 foot tall,
What the heck?
15 feet wide. And it was just in the middle of nowhere.
It's a long haul.
Yeah, dude.
Are we splitting it up into a night, or are we just going to go for it?
We're going to go.
Okay, good.
So, me and Raina made it there and back,
Uh-huh.
and we never stayed in it. Like, we didn't break it up.
Can I make a proposition?
Yeah.
Can we stop in Kansas City and see the Royals play? On the way there or way back?
Potentially, yeah.
Because the Rockies aren't in town when we're going. And I'd really like to check a new ballpark off my bucket list. And it's literally the interstate. The interstate's right next to the stadium.
We'll do what we can, Gabe.
I remember passing that though, but no, like I remember in Missouri when we were driving by it, we drove by like this absolutely gigantic store, right? And it was like, I can't remember the name. It started with a K, but it was like a Western store. Like they had cowboy hats, boots. Like they made the cowboy hats. They done all this other stuff. Yeah. And I remember it was like 10 hours in our drive. I think it was before Kansas City. And when we drove by it, we were like, you know what? I like to have a new pair of cowboy boots. Let's drive by it, right? So I remember we did drive by it. We come back and we stopped there. And we actually found like they had like hundreds of different pairs of boots, so many like Western style clothes, like pearl snaps, Ariats. They had Stetson hats and all these different kinds of cowboy hats, both straw, felt, and like I said, they custom make you a hat. Like if you walked in there and said, "Hey, I want this hat from Red Dead Redemption 2," they will make you that hat.
I'm going.
Cool.
Because I was thinking earlier, I want a cowboy hat from when
but
we go.
Do you know how expensive that is?
Very.
Like, I mean, they will literally have to shape this to your head.
Do they have any pre-made ones? Like a pre-made cowboy
They
hat?
do, but like I
I
said...
just want a regular cowboy hat. I don't want nothing special.
I have one. Do you want it?
Huh?
I have one that Josh gave me. Huh?
Oh, no.
Well, if Josh gave it to you, you know it's good then.
He gave it to me. He gave it to me. His hats are nice. Mine, no.
Josh does have some nice cowboy hats.
He does.
I don't get it.
What, the cowboy
Cowboy
hat?
hat?
Yeah, I don't get the thing with the cowboy
The
hat.
closest thing I wear to a cowboy hat is my straw hat when I mow.
Yeah, like, I can't understand. I don't know. I don't get the appeal to it.
I mean, it can
Because
get...
you got soft hands.
You got soft hands, brother.
No, I wouldn't like wear it all the time. I just think it'd be
No.
neat to have.
It'd be cool to have one.
Like every now and then, just go out in the yard
Like-
and shoot your gun while wearing a cowboy hat. You know how awesome that'd be?
Or
Would be
if you
pretty cool.
decide to go like to a country concert, you know?
No, because I ain't gonna be like I ain't gonna
Like
be that guy.
you see so many people when you go like y'all went to the Tyler Childers concert. How many people did you see wearing cowboy hats?
All kinds.
About 75%.
And I can guarantee
And the white cowboy
at
boots.
least I can guarantee you about half of those people have never worked hard in a day in their life. They go to UK college.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Bunch of college idiots. Never worked.
My hands look like this, so hers could look like that.
We've been going for a long time.
How long are we on?
We're
They
over
41.
88. Not that long.
It's not bad. We need to ditch the whole self-improvement thing and just start talking. And like,
I think we still need to keep it, but I don't know.
what do you think?
You
We're
listen-
interviewing you. What do you think about the show? What do
You've
you think
listened
we
to
should
every
do?
episode, haven't
I
you?
have
we
listened to
improve?
every episode. Since you told me that you two were going to do this, I have loved every episode.
Yeah.
The only episode I didn't like as much because your guest was quiet and hardly ever spoke. Love him to death, ain't throwing no shade on him, but the one with Noah Lutz.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
It was fun.
it was your second podcast, though. I mean, so I'm, like I said, I'm not judging. Y'all were still figuring it out.
Mm.
But I stayed true. Now, the one with Andrew, I know that one was one of my favorites.
It's
Right.
the best one.
The one with Micah Swim, I graduated with Micah Swim. I liked him when I went to school with him. I don't know how he feels about me, but I'll always liked him. And he like his whole storytelling. I had no idea that he went through any of that
Yeah.
while being at the University of Cumberland's.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I wish I had stories like that. I tried to go to BCTC, Bluegrass Community and Technical College, after I graduated high school, and I wanted to go for civil engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I practically flunked out of the first semester, and I was like, this is not for me. So I started working with Bishop's Small Engine Repair Shop.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was making $8 an hour. I was like, I hate this. So then I went to the bank, the Citizens Guarantee Bank, because I knew the CEO. Not saying like, hey, give me a job, but she just gave me a job. She's like, you have to interview for it, and then you can, So I interviewed for it. They're like, okay, we'd like to search you. Started it. I realized I hate being inside all day, wearing a button-up shirt all day. It just didn't feel like that's what I wanted to do. So I actually went back to Bishop's because I knew the owners of them. They let me in that. They're like, all right, well, now you're making $10 an hour. I was like, I'm rolling in the big bucks. I was like, I'm making that money. Still living at home, mom and dad, loved it, right? Well, then I was like, Dad sat me down and was like, you're going nowhere in life if you work here. Like, he didn't say that, but he was like, you should really try and think about doing something different. And I thought to myself, like, I'm being stupid if I continue to work here because I will make no more than maybe $15 an hour while I work here.
Mm-hmm.
So I put an application in for Richmond Utilities. I put in an application actually there for Richmond Utilities, Madison Utilities, and Estill County and Irving Municipal.
Mm-hmm.
Only place I ever heard back was for Richmond Utilities. And I got told before I even started up there, you have to know somebody to work here. I didn't know a soul. I still got the job.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm making $13 an hour, thinking this is awesome. I get to work outside. I'm in the elements. I don't mind getting dirty, getting a little wet. So I was doing anything and everything they told me. It didn't matter what I was doing. And now I've got my Class 3 water distribution license, and by next November I can go for my 4s because you have to be there for 5 years to get it.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm gonna aim for a supervisor position before long.
Nice.
Because I have my credentials. I know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
All I got to do is I just got to shoot for it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a better space than what I was. I was really hoping when I was in high school that I would get a scholarship for soccer. Because I didn't start like freshman through junior. I was not good. I'll say this. I loved soccer, but I was not the best. All right. But, I had 3 different coaches in 4 years of high school. Right. Mm-hmm. One of them went to jail.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Is it crazy? I've had a coach and a teacher go to jail for pedophilia.
At least we're not name dropping, but we're in Estill County, so everybody knows.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Everybody.
I got sat down by a therapist both times, like, do you need to talk about your feelings? Like, no, I wasn't offended. I was like, can I go back to class, please? They're like, we have to talk to you for at least 10 minutes. I'm like, I said, what's your favorite color? She goes, blue. I was like, good. Can I go? She's like, sure. None of the boys on the team, like a couple of them were absolutely devastated, right?
Yeah.
Because they thought, he was one of the guys. He was younger as a coach. And meanwhile, I was like, I didn't like him because he didn't like me.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go. The assistant coach stepped up as interim. And this coach...
Hang on. You know we're going to upload this.
Okay, the guy lives down the road from me. I'll stop.
No, you're fine. It's funny. I'm just messing with you. It's hilarious. Okay. We haven't dropped a name.
I'm not going to say a name.
We're talking about somebody. No.
Somebody. You have to be part of the community to know. Anyway, my senior year, though, So I'll talk about our season. When I was a freshman, we had won 3 games, and we had lost like 14. So we had made a group chat on Instagram so that way everybody could communicate about when practice is, what events are, what is happening, what color jerseys and everything to wear, because we didn't have no team reach or nothing at the time.
Yeah.
So the next year, we had lost to Powell County in the districts for our freshman year. Our sophomore year, we had titled it 314 No More.
Yeah.
That was a big boost to everybody, and we kind of got a little better, but we were district runner-ups this time. And if I don't know if you two remember, but we had the whole big ordeal with the Powell County students. They had got custom shirts saying like back to back, and they ran around our field and hopped on our caboose.
Yeah.
We didn't like that at all. So the next year, finally our junior year, when we had that coach, we won the
I
district.
remember this game. I was there.
Yeah, I remember you being there, and we were so hyped. They had one of those.
What's his name? Andrew. Not the coach, but the guy on the team. He was a senior. He had the W flag.
Yeah, they had a W flag.
Cheney, is that it? On your team?
Andrew Cheney.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he had got that because we had also got the shirts made, right?
Yeah.
So I remember we won because we ended up going into a PK shootout. So that's a penalty kick shootout.
Yeah.
And I remember I had kind of gotten a little good at the PKs. So I walked up and they were like, all right, they'd already been through so you choose 5, the other team chooses 5, go back to back.
Mm-hmm.
They kept tying over and over. So you needed at least 3 to just win the game. And I remember they looked at me and they're like kind of reluctant, kind of not. It was like, you're not last, but you definitely weren't first.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up there. We already have 2 points. They have 1. I was like we need to do something. So I remember I kicked that goal, made it. Best feeling of my life. So we grabbed those shirts.
So you kicked the game-winning goal?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I wish I would have went to this.
That's
I wish I
awesome.
wasn't so introverted.
And that's the thing is that
It was at Powell County.
I know.
That wasn't even my favorite year being there.
That's cool. I didn't realize you kicked the game-winning goal.
Yeah. Well, if you do remember though, we did run over to the Pirate
Getting on the Pirate ship and waving that big W flag.
And if y'all remember someone that used to go to school to Estill County and now goes Powell County,
Started
he
beefing.
ripped off Estill County shirt like y'all done did it. We gonna mess y'all up, and then they lost to Estill County football.
There's another big
And flash forward to our senior year. We got a new coach. We got 2 new coaches. Everything's going great. They asked me to be goalie. I was like, I've played every position in this sport except for goalie. I don't know that I can do it. So they're like, it's okay. We will train you to do everything you need to for this position. They did everything they could, even though we didn't have a goalie with any knowledge at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we had someone there that played when he was in middle school. But after that, he never played again. He played like a defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember our first game was against Berea, right? The Berea Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And they play in that little field at the Berea skate park, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
And I remember we won that game. We won 3-0. My favorite point is the first ever time I played as a goalie. They kicked the ball at me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him kicking. I thought he was going to the left, so I tried to step to my left, and I see him switch, and he's not hitting to the right. So I I'm shifting my body weight, and I now am laid out, block this shot.
Yeah.
Best feeling of my life. I just blocked my first ever shot. And, as the season goes, we're kind of like, not 50-50, but we scheduled against teams that are better than us and worse than us and teams that are about our level.
Yeah.
So we knew what we were capable of. We knew what we weren't. We won districts 2 years in a row. We finally won regionals. Mm-hmm. And now we are finally, for the second time in Estill County history, soccer team went to state. We went up against Prestonsburg. I remember it was in October. It was snowing. It was freezing cold. And I remember it come down to, it was 1-1. And I remember being in the goal. I couldn't block the first shot, but I blocked the second shot. And we ended up getting a PK. And then I remind you, we have less than a minute to go before this game is over with. So they're like, all right, we should switch it up. The coaches were like, let's switch it up. Let's let him kick it. I screamed, don't let him kick it. Not saying anything bad about the kid that was going to kick it, but I was like, don't let him kick it. Because we had, I'm not going to drop his name because he's in hot water right now, but a certain striker that we had, he had been making every shot. I'll tell you after this.
Okay.
But we had.
I'm trying to think.
But anyway, did you figure it out?
No.
I don't know who it is either.
No.
I'll tell y'all later.
Okay.
But anyway, he had been making all of our shots. We had it was he had already made another
I know
PK.
who it is.
Yeah. But I was like, let him kick it. Well, the one kid that they let go up to kick it, he tried to do something like trick him, right? Mm-hmm. But he kicked it on the ground, and it slowly rolled in. The goalie practically picked it up, threw it out. They got it all the way down. If I was a half second faster, I could have kept us in the game. Because ain't no joke, the ball scraped my fingertip. But if I was a half second faster, I would have been able to just knock it out.
Yeah.
So I ended up losing the game. Hardest I ever cried. But then I found out later that year I was third in the state in shutouts.
Really?
Which means I had 14 games where we didn't get didn't get scored on.
Wow.
Dang.
And they call those shutouts.
Yeah.
When we score and we win those games.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I was third in the state. I was behind.
I didn't know that.
So that's, I guess, one of my accomplishments that I like to talk about.
Estill County soccer is pretty dramatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, floppers.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were third in the state in shutouts.
I didn't find that out until after the season. Dad
Really?
looked up the stats and found it.
Huh.
I can't
That's
even.
cool though.
I can't even find. They never recorded any of our games. I cannot go back and look at any of the games I ever played.
Dang.
Really? That sucks.
Raina played, so I went to like all of her games that I could in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And Perry County, dude.
Perry.
Don't get us started on Perry County.
Listen, okay, I gotta say one thing. Perry County, if there's any of you that listen to you, stop. Just stop. I do not like Perry County. If you remember what I wore a yellow goalie shirt. Mm-hmm. But we hit those bright blue short shorts. Mm-hmm. Like not short shorts, but like the shorts. I kept getting called a banana and a sunscreen bottle.
That's pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. I was like, dude, I looked over because it was like a whole student section. I was like, that's funny. I remember we looked back, and I was like, hey, that's pretty funny. Pointed at the scoreboard 3-1. Like, we had never beat Perry Central this bad. I was like, the Family Guy skit, scoreboard. That's practically what I was doing. They got mad. They started, no joke, throwing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the ref had to come over and tell them quit or you're gone. And Perry Central's coach, there's one person in this world that I just do not like. It's got to be him. Because he used to be a ref. So he would be screeching and hollering at the ref like, that was offsides. And he's over here next to me.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what offsides is in soccer. I'm convinced. Offsides in soccer is being better.
You're just further ahead than the defender. You have to have the ball to be that far ahead.
If you get past them, I always forget you have to have the ball. Yeah.
But
oh goodness.
Yeah.
It was always very hands-on and
when you went down to Hazard to play soccer.
Yeah. Very much so hands-on.
I don't think Hazard was all that bad. We beat them, then we beat Perry Central.
Yeah.
And Hazard wasn't all that bad, but they They had a kid that tried to start a fight with us.
What was
I
that?
don't know. It's still recording.
All right, we're good.
Wait, Cole, let me see your mic. Let me see. It's still on. It's fine.
Y'all's is red.
Yeah, it's because that's the storage on that's full, but it's recording.
Oh.
That's fine.
Okay, we're good.
Well, Cole, you got any other stories?
Wow.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we could think of to talk about?
I think we can talk about a scripture. I think we need to get into it.
That's fine.
We talked about poop and
It's,
spanking kids.
it kind of makes sense though.
I will say this: I've listened to every podcast. Haven't liked a single one. I will like mine.
Oh, hang on. You evaded my question.
What?
What do you think we should do? Like,
Oh yeah.
how do you think we should? Do you think we should continue with, like, trying to really prioritize self-improvement, or do you think like we can lean out of it a little? Like, what do you think about the show and the direction it's going?
I love the self-improvement part myself.
Yeah.
I love the jokes, the laughing. When I'm driving down the road in the morning, y'all post this on Sunday. I don't listen till Monday morning. And I drive 20 minutes to work. So on the way to work, on the way back, I'm listening to it. Y'all have inspired me to start running again, because I mean I've gained a little weight. I know I have, so I've tried to start running again. Run a mile till I can fill up enough to run 2 miles, and then maybe one day start running like alongside you two if I could help it. Because y'all were talking about that ultra. I was like, that'd be awesome. If I start training, I could do it. And then y'all were like, y'all pressed the button right then and there. I was like, well, there goes my chance of talking to him about it.
No, you can't.
No.
Where is that button? Gosh dang it! I didn't bring the button.
Where's it at?
Do we want to take a break?
Take
Go get it. It's downstairs.
Sure.
I've got
Save them
something
thoughts
else
for a second.
Yeah.
Okay,
save your
okay.
thoughts.
Second break.
So I was asking you about the direction of the show. This is the third time I've asked this question.
I know, and I will answer. So like I said, y'all started to inspire me to run a little bit more, because I mean over the time, you can ask Gabe, like I'd run, but then I'd get something wrong with me. I can't run, or something is going on. I don't have the time. It's cold outside. It's hot outside. I wouldn't make excuses, but like recently I've been really trying. Like, I mean, I bought these $150 pair of running shoes to force myself to start using them and running. By the way, most comfortable shoes I've ever
Vomero's
worn.
nice.
So nice, dude.
My Invincible Run 3s are about to bite the dust.
Dude.
They starting to hurt.
Get them.
So
I mean, you
I'm
tried them
thinking
on
about
at church that
I'm
one
thinking
day.
about the Vomeros.
They're so comfortable. But so I started to try to do that, and self-improvement, I love it.
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of people in this world that can admit to self-improvement. They think they're good, they're fine, they're great. They don't understand that they do need to change sometimes. To change is human. To not, it's still human, but change is better in my opinion. Like small changes, like drastic changes can be a little hard, but my favorite parts of when y'all are recording this podcast, whether it's by yourself or with someone, it's the joking around, it's the laughing. Because like I said, I'll get up at 6 a.m. and I'll leave the house closer to 6:20, 6:30, so I can get to the shop and open up. But on my way to work, while I'm listening to that podcast, it wakes me up because I'm busting out laughing at some stupid joke y'all talked about, and I laugh about it for 10 minutes after y'all already passed it. Like the whole 100 men versus one gorilla.
The best one got cut out.
I was dying the entire time. It was my favorite thing. I loved it.
I got
And yeah, like I mean, because Gabe brought it up, but you went in so much depth about it that just like you just kept going on. I would hear Gabe giggle, then you would bust out laughing, and he would start. And like I said, I'd be sitting there driving to work, feel like I'm about to crash my truck because I'm dying laughing. But the self-improvement, though, like I said, I think y'all are good where you're at.
Cool.
It's really up to y'all if y'all choose to go lean more into it or lean more out of it. I like it because, like I said, you're trying to change. I admire that. You've changed, and you're still going with it. I admire that. Because, like I said, I remember, Gabe, like when we were little, like I'm just 2 years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when, like, you and me were this tall.
Yeah.
And you grew up, and just one day at the church, because we started attending youth group a lot more together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I consider you a really good friend.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing you go from where you were to where you are now, that's awesome. And I couldn't be more proud of someone like that. And like I said, you're doing that. I don't know you as well as I know Gabe, because you are his friend. I like to consider you a friend.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome what you're doing. Trying to get into a half marathon. Now all of a sudden, quadrupling into an ultra in a few months after. But still, I love that. And I wish I could do something like that. And I'm trying, but I mean, like I'm sure you know, when you work, it is hard to do.
Yes, it is.
Especially
difficult.
But like I said, I try to go to the gym and work out, but I know I need to run more to kind of...
I think the hardest part about working full-time, trying to adult, and trying to be healthy is honestly the diet. For me, that is the most difficult part because you forget your lunch at home, you forget to make something the night before, whatever. You eat something out, you're not going to eat something as like nutrient dense and has high protein.
Yeah.
You're not going to have what you want to be fueling your body to do the exercise, to do the run, to do the workout.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to feel like garbage whenever you do it, and you're going to be less motivated. So for me, that's the most difficult part.
Yeah.
And I do the thing where it's like, oh, well, I didn't hit my run yesterday. Can't do it today. For whatever reason. They're like, man, I forgot breakfast, got something out. I was well just not try for the rest of the day. And it's so difficult to break that.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I worked on Monday, and I remember first thing Monday morning, we were working on a fire hydrant. We were supposed to be cutting it, replacing it, and shortening it up, right? So we dug it out, done all that, and we got the restraint on it. We got the valve on it. We got everything. We turned the valve off so we could cut it and do all this great stuff, right? And we were just tightening the bolts down. We were literally about to cross the finish line. And then all of a sudden, one of the guys down the hole, so two of them are down there tightening bolts, while two of us are sitting on top, just sitting down because the work's almost done. We're just sitting down, just talking to them while they do that. And all of a sudden, you hear, and like I'm over here. We have tracing wire, and I was sitting there stripping the copper. Right, I was just stripping it for a minute, just to do something while we're talking. And all of a sudden, I'm looking up at the sky, water, and I'm drowning pretty much. I'm like, oh my gosh! I get up and I start to run away, and then I look back, and my coworker, he's a bit of an older man.
Yeah. Right,
and he's shorter than me. I know I'm short, but he's shorter than me. Right, and he's like trying to jump out of the bank, which is like up to here to him, right? And my other coworker, who was also down the hole with him, was able to run out. But I crawled out, by the way. I'm drowning. I threw my phone halfway across the field to get it out of the water. And I look back because I'm trying to grab all the electrical stuff to try and get it back and go get a valve key so we could shut this stuff down. I look back at my coworker, like right here is my guy in the hole. Mm-hmm. Like I'm the guy trying to reach in to grab him. Grab my hand. My coworker's looking this way. Grab my hand. Trying to grab him. He's all the way over here. I was like, to your right. He, boom, smacks him in the head. I'm like, this man, the hole's already filled up. It grabs his hand, rips him up, and we shut it all down. And it was wild. But after all that, I'm soaking wet, head to toe, all day. I get home, and I said to myself, I'm going to run. It's like 85, 86 degrees, and where I was wet, I am just dog tired. I'm super hot. I felt like I had a fever. It was so bad. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to hop in the pool. Right? Hop in the pool. I'm like, cooled down. I'm going to try and get a run in. I just never did. I just kind of got lazy because I didn't eat anything at all that day because the whole diet thing kills me because I'll forget my lunch. I've had the same sandwich 3 days in a row. I can go without a different thing, so the diet is definitely the thing that gets me the most, in my opinion.
Yeah, the diet's rough. Very rough. I fasted on Monday, and like the next day I had a big steak and potato, and I kind of did that fast to almost kind of just reset my diet. But I didn't have a planned diet for afterwards to reset to. So I've just kind of cycled back to what I've been doing.
Just fast again.
Huh?
Yeah.
Fast again.
Dude, it was so hard. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. I was sitting there, I was mowing my grandpa's yard because he can't do it right now because he's had knee surgery. And so I'm sitting there mowing his yard, starving to death on Monday, just sitting there chewing gum, just trying to get flavor in my mouth. I'm sitting there on that big zero turn. I've never driven a zero turn before until Monday. And so I'm just riding it around and turning and putting big old holes in the ground from where you turn too quick, it starts digging up and stuff. And I'm just sitting there starving to death. But I got it done and just chewing gum all day long until I got through it. But 36 hours without eating. And next day, I feasted.
I bet.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like chewing gum is cheating on a fasting.
No.
I didn't swallow it.
It doesn't matter. The flavor still packs calories. You know that?
Yeah, like 5 though.
It's still calories. It's still nutrients.
It's sugar free.
I'm just joking.
October 18th, by the way.
October 18th. What's that?
That's
the date
the date.
for the ultra.
Mm-hmm. And you said before we took a break to go get our first piece of
Yeah, we
Fan
got
mail.
some. If you can see it, it's so
so
dark.
dark
Who
in
sent
here.
that?
You can hear it though.
It's awesome. We pressed the button. It showed up yesterday, addressed to "Be good to your brother." Yeah, I'm still tripping over it. Like
I don't know who sent it.
That's
I don't-
incredible.
Did you text Micah?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
We're thinking Micah might have sent
but
it.
I thought about getting y'all a button to send it to y'all. I'm glad I didn't now. y'all have like 4 different buttons.
yeah, but you said before we took break to go get that it was too late.
Okay, first of all, I didn't say
You
to
said
go
it was-
get it. Gabe said
I
to
know,
go
but
get it.
before we went to go break,
I
you
said that
it
I
was-
would, but I was
You
joking.
said it was
Listen,
too late to do the ultra. It is not too late to do the
listen,
ultra.
the most.
There's an old Italian guy in Richmond, and he's gonna do it.
Serge doing it?
Serge is doing it. Dude. You're gonna meet. He might take the Vespa out. He might ride the Vespa. He's got a really old Vespa in the shop.
Sitting there on a trail with the Vespa.
So, if he can do it, you can. Do it. You don't have to run the full thing. We got people walking it.
How many people's doing it?
6 or 7 now.
Okay.
But he said he's gonna win. And I was like, my boy might get you. And he
How
was
old is
like,
Chris?
he was like, what was his marathon pace? And I told him, and he was like, oh, he might get me. But if you want to do it, dude,
Come out and do it, Cole. Might as well. What else you doing October 18th?
it's called the Mackenzie. He's paying for, or the plan is right now that he's going to get some Airbnbs out there so we can all have a place to stay after we run 56 miles. And we're going to start at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Knock it out.
I'll tell you what. I'll try and train for it. I
You'll have
will.
to buy more shoes though, because you'll need trail runners.
I will get some. I actually already have hiking
will get
shoes,
some.
so I might have some.
He will get some. He's already there.
But
God.
just y'all danced around this the entire podcast last time. I'm allowed to dance around it for a second. All right. Listen. If I can, if one of you will text me every day, say, "Did you run?" Making me run at least a
I'm
mile.
gonna text you every day. I send that in the group chat every day.
Yeah, but if you text me
Oh.
personally, be like, "Hey, did
okay.
you run?"
Okay.
Because there was one time where you didn't send one like in the beginning,
Yeah.
and to me, you always sent it to me and Andrew before you sent it to the Knuckle Crackers.
Yeah.
So I texted you. I was like, "Hey, did you run today?" You go, "Oh yeah, I forgot to send it."
Yeah.
No, I was because you had said something about being held accountable.
Mhm.
But as long as I am held accountable, I told Haley, hey, help me, remind me to run every day. Hasn't done it once. Hasn't done it once. So if I am reminded to run, I will run at least a mile every day till I build up the courage and the strength to run at least maybe 2 miles once a week, and maybe how you had started. That's what I want to get to. So,
Buttons there, if you want.
I will do it, but there is no guarantee I will do it as fast as you guys.
Time's not an issue, buddy.
Go Willis.
What's it called?
The Machinzi.
The Machinzi.
That's
the Swahili word for 56, bro.
I've never even ran a marathon. The most I've ran is a 5K.
I haven't.
Hey, treat it like a hike. Treat it like a hike.
Treat it like a hike.
Brother,
So,
I have hiking sticks. I will bring those.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 15 and walk 10. And run 15 and walk 10. Run 15, walk 10.
15 what?
Minutes. That's my.
I thought you were about to say miles. Smack the cup. I was like, you can do that by yourself, man.
I'll probably walk all the hills too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm just feeling good and want to make time, then I'll run a hill.
I want to get to the point where I'm playing with robot dogs.
So I asked, and he was like, "No, you're not gonna get there." But he's done 100 milers.
Yeah.
He was like, "Dude, like the third lap of my 100 miler."
Lap?
So it's not a 100-mile lap.
Well, I know that,
They
but they
did-
had to do
they
laps.
did laps,
Oh, that
yeah.
sucks.
He was like, the third lap of my 100 miler, I was running, and all of a sudden there's a camel smoking a cigarette. he was like, I was like, what is that? And I just kept going.
Can you please tell me that the camel was in fact smoking camels?
I can't know.
Because if
But
it was
that would
smoking
be funny.
anything else. Yeah, it was smoking Pall Malls.
Yeah. Virginia Slims. Like her-
Kentucky's finest, baby.
So Cole's going to do the machine.
Cole's doing the machine.
This is gonna be awful. I will.
I'm gonna have to pay for us now. Chris is gonna be like, dude, this is
How much is it?
No, there's no
There's
interest.
not a sign up fee or nothing.
Hey, okay,
It's
fine.
just a bunch of guys going out on a trail and running 56 miles.
Okay. Here, I want to put y'all up to something.
Oh
A
boy.
different kind of race.
Okay.
Because I talked to you about wanting to do it. I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna do it with Dad and a lot of the CrossFitters in town, along with Gabe Brooks and his buddy that he works with. I'm gonna do the Tough Mudder in Indiana on August the 3rd. It is a Sunday, but it is a 5K.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never done a Tough Mudder before, it is so much fun. But you will get muddy and
Yeah.
filthy.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I wore shoes there, I had to throw them out. I have a pair of shoes I'm ready to throw out.
Yeah.
But the worst part about the whole thing, there's 2 obstacles you have to go through in the 5K. That is the worst. And the thing is, when you run it, it don't feel like you're running it. Because you run like maybe half a mile and then you get to an obstacle. There's like 10 total obstacles this whole time, right? So my least favorite of the entire 2 is the Arctic plunge. Right? There is water that is 33 degrees Fahrenheit. And what it is you have to get in. It comes up to your chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a board, right? And the board is like standing like a foot out of the water, but a foot below the water. You have to grab it, dunk yourself all the way under, go under it, come back up, do it one more time, and climb up on a net to get out.
Oh.
It's the worst brain freeze ever. When we used to do ice baths at the church,
Yeah.
it was 10 times worse than that. And then the next part is, and like I'm sure you've seen like on Facebook and different people doing it, is the electroshock therapy, is what they call it. Basically, there are these like live like pieces of metal that hang down, and like I found out some of them are not electrified, but like it's like not like a taser. It's like maybe half of what a taser is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll say this.
So I've been hit. I've tased myself with a little hand taser.
It like hurt.
Half of a taser is still gonna suck really bad.
But listen. Okay, so this is my experience with it. I walked up and I was like, all right, if I just go ahead and just tap it like real quick, like I was like, I'm just gonna punch one of the wires hanging down to see like how bad it hurts to know if I can just sprint through this or if I should like carefully make my way through it, right? So I like tapped one, like I was like freaking out, like I'm shaking like this. I went like that, and I tapped one. I was like, I held my hand. I was like, it's not electrified. I slowly stuck my hand out to the one next to me. Boom! Felt like I jumped 10 feet in the air. Right? Like every hair in my body stood on end. And I felt like, no joke, I felt like I jumped out of the water back down. You're in water, by the way.
Oh my gosh, this is so dumb.
But there's enough for
Why are
like
we
you
playing
can
with
weave
electricity and water?
through. but listen, there was enough for you to weave through. And I remember I was going through it, right? We were kind of making our way and getting through it. And I remember Dad was doing it. And I think he took his shirt off to do it because the water from the ice bath was so cold in his shirt he had to take it off. He was walking through and he was ahead of me. And I'm weaving through and I don't hit another one at all till I get to the end and I don't hit one. But Dad didn't hit one till the very end. And he swung by. I looked up, I raised up. I went, oh no! Swung, like tapped his nipple, and he freaked out and just jumped, and jumped into the end. And he landed on his feet. He didn't like fall down or nothing, but he lunged out of there. And I mean, it was my most favorite race I've ever done. It was a full 5K. Ran the whole thing. Never walked any of it. Mm-hmm. But there's so many obstacles, and there's, no matter what, no one finishes first, no one finishes last. Everyone works together. You're supposed to make new friends there.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun, and there's so many nice people there.
That's cool.
I'd love to do it, but it's on Dad's birthday, and I don't know how that's gonna.
I understand that,
but I can't push the button on it yet. But
bring your dad. Bring your maps.
Bring him age.
Yeah, bring him age.
That would be fun.
Wow.
So you're doing the Mackenzie.
I guess.
How do you feel, right? Has it set in?
I mean,
when's the last time you ran?
It hasn't set in for me that I'm doing it.
It was last week. I remember I ran last week. But like I said, my mile right now, I'm not proud of it. When I was in high school, my mile was my fastest mile ever was 5:59.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Right now, my fastest is 10 minutes flat.
Yeah.
Not my best. My fastest 2 mile, I think last time I ran it was 22, 23. But I'm also not running like down Main Street or anything like you are. Mm-hmm. I'm running up the driveway that goes up to my uncle's old house.
Yeah.
So I'm running like up a hill, back down a hill, up a hill, back down a hill, like over and over again.
Yeah.
So like I feel like the hill slows me down.
The hill slows you down, and the turning slows you down.
The turning slows me down.
You need to go to town and run.
I think I'm going to.
There's like more and more people getting out and doing it. Have you noticed that?
Cool. Yes.
I love it. Like you see people out. I guess maybe because it's summertime.
I've seen 3 other people.
I guess because it's summertime. Because I guess I was used to running in the winter, and who's stupid enough to go out and run in the winter? This guy. But
I say it's hard for me to run in the winter time, only because like it gets dark quickly. I'm not saying I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of what lurks in the dark.
My thing was in the dark when it's like, aren't you? My grandma would always ask me, like, aren't you like nervous about what's happening? I said, I'll just run away from it.
My thing is, I'm not fast enough right now.
See, I'm perfectly capable in my abilities to either run away from a situation, probably the go-to, or handle myself long enough to run away from the situation. So I always think about that when I pass random people on the street when I'm running. I'm like, hey, how's it going? If they do like one of them on me, I can like sprint away.
Bookends, yeah.
You know,
I passed a guy in front of Citizens Guarantee, and he was just carrying like a long metal rod, and I was like, nope. And I just switched sides, kept going, switched back.
Well, do we need? It's getting late.
It is getting
late. You
late.
You can't see us, but you can hear us, and that's all that matters. We're ugly anyways. So
don't upload it on YouTube this though.
So scripture. Let's get into it. You want to read it? Or you want me to?
I can read it. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. It says, "Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter: fear God and keep His commandments." I feel like I didn't write that down right. We might have to look this up.
I just pulled up real quick. So that'll slide if I don't put that there. Ecclesiastes, what, 12?
Chapter 12, 13, and 14.
I'll tell you let me pull it up, and I'll tell you the reason I picked this verse this week.
You sent it to me. You saved it, I think.
Yeah, I've got it here on the Bible app. All right, now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. We'll break that down here in a second, but the reason I picked this verse this week is I've kind of been struggling a lot with what's my purpose in life. You know, we've talked about defining your purpose and all that jazz, but with the new upcoming school year and going and getting this master's degree, going to grad school, being a grad assistant and all this crap, I've kind of just, and with taking the night classes and still helping out with the football team, like I just came from football practice, middle school football practice, like right before this. And so still helping out with that and just everything just kind of feeling like it's all hitting at the same time. And I've kind of been struggling, what's my purpose in all of this? And I've turned to the Bible about it. And I'm like, well, let's see what I can find. So I'm searching up stuff, and it led me to Ecclesiastes. So a little backstory on Ecclesiastes is that Solomon wrote it. King Solomon, said to be the wisest man to ever live, right? He asked God for wisdom, and God gave him wisdom. And when he was king, it said that silver was just like pebbles on the street. That's how rich it was. Like, that's how rich they were. They were just rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
And so, good things were happening when he was king. And so he writes Ecclesiastes, and he starts off the first chapter saying everything is meaningless. This is meaningless, that is meaningless, and he says wisdom is meaningless. And he also says, let me pull up chapter 2. We actually talked about it last night in youth group.
Talked about this Sunday too, didn't you?
Yeah, Sunday.
Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday night. We also talked about it last night too. But he also talked about how pleasures are meaningless, and he also goes on to saying there's a time for everything, and just all. It's real. We were talking about it at church. So if you guys want to come out, I don't care how old you are. You can come to my youth group. I don't give a crap. But if you want to come out to Rice Station Sunday night, Wednesday nights, anyone can come. I don't care. But we talk about how like pleasures are meaningless. Basically, he's saying that everything that we do, whether it's to pleasure ourselves or just basically anything, is meaningless in this world. All these worldly things we do is meaningless. And that can sound kind of depressing, right? But he wraps up the book with this statement. This is the last statement he makes, saying that, hey, there's one purpose in this world, in this life, is to follow God's commandment, follow his commandments, and what's it say? Fear God and keep his commandments, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one purpose he found. He tried literally everything. I mean, chapter 2 says that everything his eyes desired, he did. Like, he didn't let anything his eyes not. He did everything. Like, everything he desired, he went and did. He had slaves. He had all these wives and husbands, and like he dabbled in everything, right? Like, he dabbled in literally everything. And his conclusion came to this: whatever we do, basically, like everything, basically what we do in this world is nothing in comparison to what I guess God has in store for us, or what that's what we need to be doing. That's his conclusion, is that our purpose, your purpose, is to fear God and keep his commandments. So my struggle has been with, well, I understand that, and I follow that, and I go by that. How do I implement that into my life? And that's kind of what we've been talking about, or what I tried to talk about last night and Sunday nights. We've got the point of, at the beginning of the book, saying that everything's meaningless, everything sucks, there's no point in all this. which I believe there is a point in what we're doing here. There's a point in us sitting down here and talking about whatever we're talking about tonight. We're here for a reason to be talking about this, because hopefully someone has listened this far enough to get to this point right here that we're talking about, hey, fear God and keep His commandments. That's your purpose. So hopefully someone gets to that, and that's our purpose here tonight. So I don't think that everything we do on this earth is meaningless. I mean, but I think what he's saying is that in everything we do, we need to find meaning in it. We need to find that meaning that, fear God and keep His commandments. What am I doing in this scenario? Am I fearing God and keeping His commandments, or am I not? Am I following Jesus' example, or am I straying away? Am I doing righteous acts or unrighteous acts? Am I sinning or am I not sinning? So it just all this pressure I feel like that's been put on me, which really is not. It's just me overthinking stuff, and because things are going to turn out just fine. I have faith that everything's going to turn out just fine. So I'm just overthinking all this stuff and putting all these pressures onto myself. It's like, I've got to do this, 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 and this. When realistically, all I got to do is fear God and keep His commandments, and everything else is going to fall into place. Because he goes on to saying, for God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it's good or evil. So if I'm, at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged. When Jesus comes back, God's going to judge the whole world. And like he says here, every deed will be judged. It doesn't matter what you're doing tonight by yourself, or what you're doing, in front of everybody. If you're treating somebody good in front of everyone, well, you go home tonight and do whatever bad thing that you do at night, it's going to be judged. God knows it's going to be judged. So just taking that into account is like, hey, let's make sure whatever act I'm doing, whatever organization I'm part of, or whether job I'm going to be doing, let's make sure that it falls in line with Ecclesiastes 12:13. Fear God and keep His commandments. Because Jesus said, well, there's no, I forget who asked him, said, well, what's the greatest commandment out of all of them? It's like, well, what do we need to be doing? Jesus is like, well, this is the greatest of everything. Love your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. So if you're doing that, well, you're following all the 10 commandments. If you're doing this, you're fearing God and keeping His commandments. I mean, it's all falling into place there of what Jesus says. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And so, I don't know. That's just kind of my spill on that.
I really like that.
I do too.
The second part makes me think of something that I have thought about 3 or 4 days earlier this week.
Yeah.
I was talking, and I was talking with my hands, and so with the watch, I swing my arm back, swing my arm forward. It counts 2 steps.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there talking with my hands, and my watch vibrates. I'm like, oh, what's that? I reached my step goal. I was standing still, just talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's funny. I can get steps by sitting here doing that. And I was like, well, I'm not really getting steps.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Human nature is finding the way to, shortcut. And, for every deed, every hidden thing, whether good or evil, will be considered.
Yeah.
So at the end, you got to pass a test.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. You pass the test.
Yeah.
If you do stuff that's a shortcut to make yourself feel good, that's doesn't have good intentions. I could do a shortcut to make myself feel good if I sat here and do this to make my step goal.
Yeah.
And I made my step goal. That's an indicator.
Yeah.
I went to church Sunday. That's an indicator. But if I don't have it in my heart and I'm not there for it, it's not going to do anything for me.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
I thought about that a lot, and I'm really glad we used that scripture because I'd completely forgotten about it since.
I'll say so. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was about to ask what your thoughts on it were.
Oh, I was going to say a couple things. First of all, I think it's a scary verse to think about.
Terrifying.
You know, because you're now thinking what's to come. That makes you really think, like, holy crap. I mean, God knows absolutely everything I've ever done since I opened my eyes on this earth to the point to where I died. He knows everything. There's nothing you can hide.
Yeah.
He knows everything, good and evil. But when you're talking about, like, you know, you have to have your heart into it, I thought about this video I seen a while back. I was scrolling through TikTok, and there was this video that basically this man had died. It's like a weird little niche music video. It was really weird, but this man had died, and he made it up to heaven. And they were singing and everything like that, and well, the angel Gabriel was like, you're going to hell. But it showed everything that this man had done in his life, and everything he done was good. He went out of his way to do stuff for the elderly. I mean, he helped people. He done everything good, went to church and everything like that. But the hidden meaning in the video is his heart wasn't in it. He was doing it for himself, so he went to heaven instead of hell. And he didn't think, oh, I'm doing this for the good of God. No, I'm doing this for the good of myself. Selfishness.
Dang it. Gosh, that's a whole nother level of scary that I've never thought about.
Yeah, I mean, like that. There's sometimes where, like as a kid, like I got asked to pray sometimes, and they would say like, "Good job." I would like, "I'm gonna pray again." I love that. Like that's awesome. I got praise for that. My heart wasn't in it because I was a kid. I didn't understand it. But now I know what it means to pray. I know what it means to follow God. I know what it means. Like I know when I sin, I pray for my forgiveness every single time because I am terrified to stand before Him and Him say, "Be gone from me." What is that?
I never knew you.
I never knew you.
Gosh,
I mean that's
terrifying.
terrifying to me. But when you sent me that verse, the beginning part of it, what does it say? The first part.
Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God, keep His commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind.
The duty of all mankind. That reminded me of another verse that I absolutely love. It is my favorite verse in the entire Bible. It is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It says,
Hold up. Sorry.
Huh?
Sorry, keep going.
For we are, I think it says, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, in which He prepared in advance for us to do. Saying, God created us in His image to go do His good deeds, to go spread His word, to show people what it means to be a tried and true, a tried and true Christian, right? And I take that to heart. I mean, there are some people I meet outside, like whenever I'm working, and someone comes up to me and is like just rude to me, like that man chased me with a baseball bat. I couldn't think to myself, I hate that guy. I hope he dies. No. I thought to myself, that man needs Christ. I wish I could have helped him, but he wouldn't have listened to me. I love being able to spread the word. Like teaching those little ones, even though like they pretty much hear the same little lessons over and over by all the people at church, I still love preaching about it. When I get to preach in front of the high school students, whenever you need me to, I love it. Even though they don't listen to me half the time. It just, I get to spread the word. I know that makes me feel good, but I feel like I'm doing what God wants me to do when I do that. I'm doing it for Him more or less, not just for me. So I feel, I don't know how to explain it other than like, I feel good, but not for myself.
Yeah.
And like I said, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, makes me feel like no matter what, no matter where I go, I need to spread His word. So that's kind of what I took away from it all.
Nice.
I like that.
Well, I kind of, that's really good insight. I like that a lot. But I kind of thought about, kind of to break down this last verse 14 here, talking about how every hidden thing is going to be undone, whether it's good or evil. Let me pull this up. When, Nathaniel, the disciple,
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know how Jesus called him? Because I didn't until I was watching The Chosen, I'll be honest with
Not
you.
off the top of my head.
So, in John, it's talked about. So basically, a little backstory. Philip, one of Jesus' disciples, Philip, he had a buddy named Nathaniel. I think he was also called something else. He also, all them guys had two names or whatever, but he was also called something else. But I can't remember what else they called him. But I'm just reading here John 1:43. It says, the next day Jesus decided to leave from Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, follow me. Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town Bethsaida. Philip. So Philip was there, and Jesus was like, hey, follow me. So Philip found Nathanael and told him, we have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. Nazareth? Can anything good come from there? Nathanael asked.
Well, yeah, it's a lie.
I think that's pretty funny, but come and see, said Philip. So when Jesus saw Nathanael approaching him, he said of him, here truly is the Israelite whom there is no deceit. How do you know? Nathanael asked. Jesus answered, I saw you while you were under the fig tree before Philip called you. Then Nathanael declared, Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel. Jesus said, you believe me because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that. He added, very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. So Jesus saw him under the fig tree, and that was enough for Nathanael to be like, okay, you're the King of Israel. Let me just follow you now for the rest of my life because you saw me under that fig tree. And that shows that, he was probably by himself under that fig tree. There's no telling what was going on in his mind. In the show The Chosen, it showed him kind of like as an architect, and one of his plans went bad, and like the building crashed on a bunch of people, and he got fired, and he went under this fig tree and was just breaking down and just crying out to God, and it was like, let me see your face, let me show you this, why are you doing this to me? Then in the show Jesus says up, he said, I did not turn my face from you. In this time, I did not turn my face from you. In the show, he said that, but then also went back and quoted the Gospel of John, being like, "I saw you under the fig tree," like, so he knows, he knows whether it's seen or hidden. He knows whether it's good or evil. He knows whatever actions you're doing. So, I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on that, but. That's a scary verse. Scary verse. That it makes you realize, like, hey, if you're messing stuff up, you need to straighten up. Mm-hmm. Kind of an eye opener, but another cool thing is I just kind of thought about every time that two or more meet in God's name, in Jesus' name, Jesus is here with us. So every time we meet, Jesus is here with us. Yeah. Special guest, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
So
let's go.
Just the lights all get bright all of a sudden.
Well, do we have anything else to talk about? It is 9:45.
Oh my gosh,
we have crushed it, dude.
How long have we been talking?
To whoever sent us this cheers button, thank you.
How much time is on it?
You forgot.
2.5 hours.
Let's
oh my
go.
God. Well, that includes 2 separate
152
breaks.
Minutes.
Wow.
That includes a couple breaks.
We might be Micah. We can just keep drawing this out.
Micah's going to be so mad he's going to come back on.
Which podcast is it that has like 2 hours on it?
Micah.
Is it Micah?
Yeah, Micah's podcast is the longest.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep talking. I got to meet him now.
Well, we got any other topics we can hit on? I think that's a good closing remark. Mm-hmm. That, hey, we need to fear God and keep His commandments. That's the duty of all mankind. Like, yeah. That's our purpose on this earth, is to, have that relationship with Jesus, have that relationship with God, and, fear God, Not like, oh, I'm scared to death of you, but fear him like you would fear your father.
Yeah.
Going back to the discipline standpoint.
Yeah, let's get
that
back
we
to the
talked about
discipline.
Pulling it back around.
Speaking of
But, like,
discipline, sorry,
That was a heavy week.
it was. When you were talking about fig tree, all I can think about is the beef that Jesus had with that one fig tree in the Bible, where he cursed it and it just pretty much shriveled up and died. You know that story?
No.
Yeah, Jesus wanted.
You will never bear fruit again.
Yeah, he wanted a fig from a fig tree.
I can't
And he got
remember.
mad?
I can't remember what it was.
Didn't have any figs?
Yeah, it was like, I curse you, like you will never bear fruit, and that tree just shriveled up and died right there. Jesus had beef with a fig tree.
I love Jesus so much. I love Jesus so much. I've never, like, I think about this semi-frequently. Like, I've never wanted to hug somebody like I want to hug Jesus.
Wouldn't that be the best hug, though, by Jesus?
It had to be.
I mean, you'd probably melt into it.
Yeah. Well, Cole, you got anything else? I mean, I want to have you back on.
I would love to be back on if y'all ever have
It's
me.
been one of my favorite episodes, probably.
Yeah, beat that, everybody else.
No offense to anybody else.
Andrew Farmer, I'm calling you out right now.
If you've got any closing remarks you'd like to give, if there's anything you want to put out there for the internet?
Follow Be Good to Your Brother. It's a great eye opener. You love it. I love listening to it. I hope y'all continue it. It makes me happy whenever I see an episode come out. I mean, I get a little insight on what y'all talk about sometimes before it comes
You've
out.
had topics on the show that we've used before.
Yeah.
Speaking of not being rude, the last time you did use one of my topics wasn't my topic.
It wasn't.
No. But the topic I was talking about, so after TK come on, I loved his episode. All right, he probably had my favorite episode. But I texted you after he said something about imperfections and regrets.
Uh-huh.
And I got to look and see what it was now. But like I said, the topic y'all did, it was great. I loved that one.
Yeah.
But I just thought to myself, it'd be great if y'all talked about like imperfections. Like, it's okay to have imperfections. It's okay to have regrets.
Yeah.
Like, that's why God is there to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You are not meant to be perfect. If everyone was perfect on this earth, this wouldn't be God's ideal world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like I said, you and me are going to have regrets. I have all kinds of regrets. You did forgiveness and letting go of resentment.
Oh.
I was like, you said it me out. I was like, I didn't say that, but that was a fantastic episode. But I was like, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not even gonna say anything. It was great.
My bad. I thought that's what it was.
No.
Dang.
No, but
Next time you're on, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
deal. 'Cause I got all kinds of imperfections myself. I got all kinds of regrets. But I'm still here, and I mean, I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And now, for some reason, I'm going to run 52 miles.
56.2.
56.2
So,
miles.
I don't know if you realize this. It starts in Kentucky.
Ends
and
in Tennessee.
ends
You told me.
in
You
Tennessee.
said that on the podcast, and I was like,
It's going to be fun.
it will be.
It's going to be a whole lot of life to live within 56 miles.
Yeah, by the way, I am not going up there, like, not being strapped.
Oh, we're staying straight. Don't worry.
Y'all were talking
Actually,
about that?
I said that, and then I talked to my boss, and he was like, "I've done this before." He was like, "I don't need to." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Cause like where I would trail run, like around my place, like there's plenty of dogs around and plenty of stuff around." And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, it like no dogs or nothing around." I was like, "Okay."
Listen, I will get into a fist fight with a black bear. I could take a black bear, swear to you right now.
This is a really good time to end the show before I get really upset.
We come up on a black bear. No one better interfere. I am taking it down.
You want it by yourself?
Yes. Okay. If I start getting overrun, if I start getting beat, that's when y'all jump in.
I'm gonna wait till you tap.
Tapping
with your head in its mouth.
Yes. He still hasn't tapped.
Wait, did y'all pray before or after that?
I forgot about that.
Oh, man.
Good
Sorry,
call.
I
I
was
about
really
played
up
the
in the
song. My bad. I got ahead of myself. I know you mentioned in the break we need to pray about Haley's grandpa.
Yes, please, if you don't care.
He's pretty sick and struggling. And how we gonna do this? We all want to go, or just me, or we can do the old fashioned
It's up to y'all.
squeeze the hand or whatever.
You got the flagpole in the morning. It's whatever y'all want to do.
If you guys want to pray too, I'll pray, and you can go, or whatever.
I don't care. It's y'all's podcast, man.
Do you want to pray or not, Cole?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure,
I'll pray.
You pray. Now, I'm kind of confused about this. I feel like a novice. So you say amen.
No, I'll say in Jesus' name.
And then I go.
You'll go. Yeah.
And then at the end we say, okay.
Yeah, we could technically all say amen, but
yeah,
he's still gonna understand it.
Yeah. Okay. What the?
Just
he knows what's going on.
Jesus
anyway.
is just a little. What are they doing? Just pray.
Hang on, guys. No commas, no periods.
So I'll just like once I quit talking, you can start. Then once you quit talking, Cole can start and he can finish us off.
Okay.
All right. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for tonight. This has been really, really fun and really kind of eye-opening for me, just the conversation we've had, and I think it's been productive for the most part anyways. I hope somebody gets something out of it. We love you, God. We thank you for Cole for being here with us tonight, just willing to come on and just share his thoughts and share his experiences with us. I know that's not an easy thing to do, to put it out to the world, and just thank you for Cole tonight, and just thank you for the friend he's been to me. Thank you for Jake too, just getting this show on the road, and, for him hosting and just all the good stuff he's done. Please be with us as we go on the Mackenzie, the 56 miles, and just please protect us with that, and just let us hopefully influence somebody in that challenge that we've taken on. I'll pray for Haley's grandpa, as Cole mentioned earlier. Just please be with him, as he's pretty sick right now. Just please be with him and his family, and just love them. We love you, God. We thank you for the show. We thank you for everything you've given to us. In Jesus' name I pray.
God, thank you for these boys and the conversation that we've had this evening. We have definitely been authentic. And God, I appreciate the opportunity to share your love, to share your will. And I hope that we can continue to do that with the show, God. I hope we can continue to reach people and change their hearts and bring them to your love, God. And I would like to pray for Haley's grandpa, pray for Haley's family. May they all have peace, bring peace to Haley's grandfather and heal him, God. Just surround them with love. And God, thank you again for all the wonderful things you've given us. And thank you for the sufferings that we have in our lives that will challenge us and make us persevere, God. In Jesus' name.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for this blessing and opportunity to come on here and not only spread your word, but learn more about you, Lord. Heavenly Father, I pray that everyone who's listening takes this verse that we've read about tonight into their hearts and understand it, learn it, and love it, Lord. And I pray that you be with Haley and her family, Lord, that they're going through a tough time. I pray that you know what they're going through and that you be there with them, help them, guide and direct them. Heavenly Father, we pray for the forgiveness of our sins, our trespasses, and for what we do not know, Lord. We pray that you help us learn and know what not to do, what to do. Pray that when we meet you one day in that future, that you say that you do know us and that you do love us and you don't cast us away. And Heavenly Father, it's all these things we pray in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
That was a good one, boys.
Where'd I put the pick at? Oh, there it is.
It's too dark, I can't see.
I'm sorry you guys haven't been able to see us for the last hour.
It's all right. It's
but
been
you can
fun,
listen
though.
to our voices, and hopefully it doesn't, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, it doesn't matter anyways. But we've had a good time tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in.
We love you.
Jesus loves you.
Be good to your brother.